Yep. What up, big man? You can hear me, Chris?
Yeah, you can hear me.
I hear you. Yeah.
All right,
What's up, man? What's up?
chilling. Work from home thing.
I feel you. I feel you. Let me see if we get these other guys in here. I said a couple guys said they wanted to get in. Well, I know Adam said he wanted to get in.
All right, no doubt.
So we add Adam. Let's see.
How's that quarantine life treating you?
Actually, pretty good, man. I've been coming with some of my most creative ideas in the last 2 months. So
That's good, man.
I ain't mad at it at
So,
all.
yeah, I think we all need to find some silver lining in all this. Gain a
Yeah.
new skill, new knowledge, whatever it may be. The quality time with family,
Yeah, man.
whatever, whatever you need to do, take your mind off everything.
Yeah, man. What's up? I see we got two people watching. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? We're about to get started in a second, man. I just want to give some people some time to get in here before we get into it. Um, yeah. How's the wife and the kid?
Everybody's good, man. She's over here. I don't know, making eggs or something like that. I'm not
Yeah.
even sure. Little one just woke up from a nap, and I have absolutely no clue what he's doing with this little tent over there.
Okay.
Yeah, but everything's good though. Everybody's healthy and happy.
True.
Rajon,
What else, Sabrina?
I she can't hear you. I'm on the
Oh,
headset,
word.
but I'll tell. He said hi. Yeah, she said hi too.
Oh, she's so nice. All right. So what I want to do is like this. I'm gonna do it like this. Let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna wait for Adam to get in. I also put the link in the comment section for anybody who wants to get in on this discussion. Right. So we're talking about top fives.
Top
Talking
five. All
about
right.
top fives. All right, top fives. Now ESPN put out a top 75 list, I think they did. Was it a top
Yeah,
75 list?
yeah. I've been kind of following on the Instagram for a little bit. I haven't really paid too much attention to it, but it seems like most of your discussion's always going to be who's top five, who's top 10.
It's always top five. That's why
Yeah.
Chris Rock had the movie top five. And for those who don't know, this is Real Talk with Rajon. I'm your host, Rajon Lewis. So the goal is for me to really bring guys in and let y'all talk about this top five thing and how it's broken down. I want to pull up that graphic so you guys can see it from the list that ESPN.com did of the top 10. And let's just start at looking at that top 10 and going from there. So give me 1 second. I'm pulling that up. Normally I'm much more prepared, but I had some stuff I needed to deal with before I got on.
All right.
Let me see.
Well, which Adam were we talking about here?
Adam Rip Reese.
Okay. Rams fan. All right.
Yeah, Rams fan. Rams fan and and fanatic of everything LA related.
LSU. Yeah.
Yeah, but shout out to Adam. Whenever he gets on, we'll make sure we give him a big
Good.
shout out.
Look
All right,
forward to it.
so let me share my screen real quick. Oh no, I don't want that. I want that. Boom. All right, so right there, if you look to the side, I have the top players of all time ranked 1 through 10 according to ESPN. ESPN went through and redid the list. They have Jordan at number 1, Bron at number 2, Kareem at number 4, Bill Russell number 4, Magic number 5, Wilt Chamberlain number 6, Larry Bird number 7, Tim Duncan number 8, Kobe number 9, and Shaq number 10. So that's where ESPN did their list. Now, if for those who don't know what the requirements were, I want to look that up as well, just so we can make sure we're on the same page there. So ESPN. Chris NBA players list. I want to make sure we set the parameters before we get into it. I don't like to just go right in. You know, you got to make sure you warm up before you get to that
Yeah, let's
that
stretch
area.
first.
Yeah, so the top 74 players of all time. And let's see. I was trying to see what the criteria was. So they said the ESPN expert panel voted. Oh, sorry. The expert panel voted on thousands of head-to-head matchups, taking into consideration both total career value and peak performance. Being in the conversation as the best player of all time means being part of an exclusive club. No disrespect to those who missed out on the top 10. The top 10 through one crowns the exceptional performers who have their own case to be the greatest ever. So just being on this list, right?
Right.
Pretty much starting out with the fact that just being on this list means you're considered one of the greatest ever. All right. So there's nobody on this list that should ever feel disrespected.
Absolutely.
That's really the first point that I want to make sure that I make abundantly clear. That if you are considered one of all, like, you have to think about all the people that have ever played basketball, right?
Right.
This is what I always make. Of all the people that have ever played basketball, they said you are one of the 10 greatest. That's nuts. All right, that's really, really, really high praise.
I agree.
Millions of people play basketball every year. Every year. Collegiately, we have hundreds of thousands of people who play basketball every year. To be in the top 10 of that means you are a GOAT.
Absolutely.
You are a GOAT. You may not be the GOAT, but you are a GOAT. All 10 people on anybody's top 10, you are saying that person is a GOAT, which is why I also think that people should really reevaluate their top 10s. But that's another issue for another day. So, Chris, let's start with who is. You can do your 10 or you can do your 5, but give me your list and let's run with it.
All right. So I'm just gonna go with top 5 here and just kind of make this super quick. Now, when I say top 5, I'm going to break this up into 2 categories. I'm going to break it up into 1 and 2. I'm going to go in no particular order. I'm going to say Jordan and Kareem. Now,
hold on, no, you got to do it in order.
Oh, well,
you have to do it in order.
The reason why I say I don't want to do it in order is because I feel like that 1 and 2 combination could be interchangeable.
So,
and I would not be mad either way.
Okay, all right.
I would not be mad either way. So I feel like at any given day, depending on how you feel or whatever new information you come out with, and what I mean information, we're talking about facts. We're talking about everything that's tangible, not anything that's abstract. Like, well, look at who they played, or anything of that nature. You know, whatever it may be. You know, times change. So
okay,
I will say that's kind of interchangeable. With everything being said, some days I might feel like Kareem is that guy. Some days I might feel like Jordan is that guy.
Yeah.
3 through 4 could be interchangeable. So part of me wants to put Bird in there just because I have a bias to him, but I can't logically put him in my top 5. But
all right.
I'm gonna go with. I feel like I'm gonna go with Magic, Russell. And I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of arguments over this.
So Magic.
Magic.
MJ. Russell. So I'm just typing it in here so people can see. So Chris says Magic, Russell. All right. MJ, Kareem.
You know what? I'm gonna say number 5 is stuck at number 5. So 3 and 4 with Magic and Russell could be interchangeable. But number 5, it's gonna spark a little bit of debate. I'm gonna go Duncan.
So you put Tim Duncan as your fifth greatest player of all time.
Mr. Fundamental, yes.
All right.
I feel like it's a very difficult argument to not include him up there just solely off the fact. Well, I don't say solely off the fact, but there's a few tangible reasons. Regardless of how you want to say, well, look at the system he came into, look at the coaches, look at the players he came around him. He still came in as that. I mean, you had an entire city of Boston who was hoping he was going to come over there, and then all of a sudden, he goes to Sacramento, and immediately that team became a winner. And we're talking about they were pretty much on the up on top for until pretty much his retirement. If I'm correct, he never missed the playoffs, and I want to say there was only one season or maybe two that he finished below 50 wins a year, and I want to say those 2 seasons were even short seasons.
Okay.
So
so you have MJ, Kareem, Magic, Russell, and Duncan. I remember you saying Bird. So where did Bird go in there?
I'm where he should be, number 7.
So Bird is in. Yeah, Bird is 7. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's your 5. All right. So I want to make sure I put that in there so people can see. So Chris says 1 and 2 interchangeable, Magic and Kareem. 3 and 4 interchangeable, Magic and Russell. Right. MJ, Kareem 1 and 2. Magic and Russell interchangeable, 3 and 4, and then Duncan. All right. All right. Cool. All right. So what? So I'll put it this way. I'll do my 10. Right. I'll run through my 10. Right. I'll run through my 10. And I want these guys to be in here to be a part of this because we've been having this discussion. So let me give me a second so I can tag these guys in because I want them to have their say and hear me out here because they, I told them I was coming. I'm here for it, here for all the smoke, like I said earlier.
They also want to hear how does everybody measure certain tangible things.
Right.
Obviously, some people measure championships as like the number one priority. Some people measure stats, or who they played against. So it's interesting. How do we measure these things?
Right. So when I think about my equation for the greatest player of all time, right, and this is something you have to consider. One, I'm a numbers guy, right? I'm a numbers guy. I'm a stats guy. I am a person who believes in the power of numbers. I think that numbers definitely need context in order to make them, make more sense to people. And to provide, that meaning. That's that coloring inside the lines. But the numbers are the lines. Don't get it confused. The numbers are the lines. The numbers are the lines. It's just that the context provides the color inside of the lines. So with that being said, so first I have numbers. Numbers is first for me. That's paramount. You got to have the statistics for me to even start considering you on this list, right?
Absolutely.
The second thing I consider is impact on the game. Okay. Impact on the game impact, right? What does adding you to a team do? What does taking you away from a team do?
Okay.
That matters. All right. 3. Numbers, impact. Sure, championships. I'll throw championships in there. Nope, before championships, I'm sorry. Before championships, accolades.
Individual accolades. Okay.
Right.
Is that what you're
Individual
saying?
accolades.
Okay. Yes.
Right. So MVPs, right? MVPs, first team NBA, all NBA, all defensive team, and even Hall of Fame status and things of that nature are things that are all considered within my list.
Right.
And lastly, I put rings.
It's not for work. You're fine. And I have the
lastly is rings.
Okay.
Right. I got rings as my last number. That's not even a top number for me. So there's a lot of people will tell you are, really, really good based on rings. I'm not one of those people. I think rings is something that shows up when you have a really good team.
So let me ask you,
yeah,
why is rings like your last criteria measure? Is because it's not an individual, I guess, accomplishment?
It's not an individual accomplishment, and two, there are some really, really great players without rings. In fact, the players, if you were to look at the list of the players with the most rings, most of them are not in anybody's top 5.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
So if that's the case, if that's the case that these people aren't even in the top 5, then rings can't be the number 1 indicator.
Right.
You can't tell me that your number 1 indicator is rings, because if that's the case, then we have to restructure our entire top 5, all of us.
Robert Horry, man.
Robert Horry, but that's the thing. Robert Horry ain't even top 5 in rings.
Yeah, he's not.
There's like 8 Boston Celtics who all had more rings than Horry.
Oh, right. They play with Russell, exactly.
So that's why I don't use rings as my number 1 barometer. Rings is what I use to separate equal players. Okay. So when you get to a discussion where you talk about MJ versus LeBron, those rings matter. Those rings come in extreme handy for Jordan right there.
Okay.
1 second. Let me go out. All right. Yeah. Can you see me?
Yeah. I get the
All right. I know I look frozen. I think I look frozen.
Yeah. You kind of right now, but I can hear you though.
All right. Give me 1 second. Let me fix this because this is bothering me. This is going to bother me. Sorry, guys who are watching. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to get this right. I want it to look good for you.
I'm hoping a few other fellows kind of jump in. I would like to hear some feedback on what they feel and where they measure certain players and how they measure certain players.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, cool. So that's frozen still, but that's all right. But okay, I should be good now. Okay. All right. So with that being said, I gave you my list. I said numbers, impact, accolades, rings. So with that being said, I'll start at number 10. And I did this last night, so it's not that hard because I still have it written down. Number 10,
I did watch some of that too. So
yeah,
I kind of see where your talking points are at.
Yeah. So number 10, Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is to me the number 10 greatest player of all time. First of all, that's an extreme compliment to Kobe Bryant, saying he's one of the great. He's one, but again, look at the ESPN list. They have him at 9. So I'm not far off. But after last night's discussion, I'm actually going to make a last minute adjustment. I'm sorry. I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to put Larry Bird at number 10.
I will say, when you said that kind of hurt me, man. But then again, like I said, that's coming from bias.
Yeah, I understand. I'm going to put Larry Bird at number 10. Now, before I even get into that, you need to understand that Larry Bird averaged 24.3 points a game and 10 rebounds per game for his career. He averaged a double-double for his career as a small forward.
Yeah.
That's nuts. All right? That's nuts. So put some respect on Larry Bird's name. I know he's a white guy, and we don't like rooting for white people, but my man played ball. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, he did.
Number 9, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq is the most dominant player in my lifetime. You can tell me what you want to with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan not walking into a gym and just physically dominating anybody.
Oh, no, he's not pushing anybody around.
It wasn't going to happen. Shaquille O'Neal is the most dominant player of my lifetime. He's not the most dominant player of all time. I'll get to that later. But of all time, of my lifetime. Shaq's numbers, career-wise. Shaq, you know what? Let me pull that.
He's on the phone with his headphones in, so he can't hear you, and it's not for work.
Where's it at?
That's fine.
I have that. I have those stats. Let's see. Shaq. Anyway, Shaq had some really good stats. We all know Shaq had 4 championships, 1 MVP. He should have had more. Multiple first team All NBA, multiple first team All Defense. Like Shaq was that dude. I don't gotta explain to people who Shaq are and why Shaq belongs. Hopefully, I don't have to explain to anybody why Shaq belongs on this list.
I want to point something out to you. Something you said yesterday, which I never really thought of, but I guess subconsciously, was always in the back of your mind. Kobe. You can't tell the story of Kobe without telling the story of Shaq. Right.
You can't. You cannot. Shaq taught Kobe how to win.
Right. And I know people will say, well, Kobe has more championships, but at the same time, when you look at it, it took him a while to get to that same level of championships. Because
yeah,
how many years did Kobe go through without Phil and without even a playoff appearance?
He has, and that's another interesting Kobe stat. Kobe has 0 playoff series wins without Shaq, Paul Gasol.
Right.
Shaq or Paul Gasol, none. So that same number that people like to use against Michael Jordan, where Jordan didn't have any playoff wins without Pippen, which is true.
Right, it's true.
Kobe has nothing without Shaq. He has nothing without Shaq and Paul Gasol. Period. All right. So that's my number 9, Shaquille O'Neal. Even though I think Shaq and Kobe are really interchangeable at 8, so that gives me to 8.
Yeah.
To Kobe Bryant. Now, I want to make sure that I make this abundantly clear when I talk about Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is, again, one of the 10 greatest basketball players of all time. By that estimation, I am telling you that Kobe is a GOAT. He is one of the greatest players of all time.
Oh, no dispute. Yeah.
There's no person worth their weight in salt that would say that he's not. All right, anymore. Kobe was number 11 on my list for a long time, but I moved him up to 8 now. Y'all kind of moved up to 8 on my list. I'll give him that, right? But let's talk what's real. All right, Kobe averaged 24 points a game for his career. All right, he averaged 24 points a game in his career, so he's not at the top of the scoring averages. Now, of course, I know y'all want to say, well, Kobe didn't play the first 3 years of his career consistently. True, he didn't. He did not. But guess what? Those still count for his career. The same way that MJ's last years still count when you talk about his career numbers. So on
we can't cherry pick here.
Right. Kobe's career stats. All right. So I'm pulling up Kobe's career stats right now for you guys. All right. Just for y'all, because I know we got a lot of, standees out there that I want to make sure that I speak to. All right. So Kobe averaged, 25 points a game. 25 points a game, 5.2 rebounds, 4.7 assists for his career. That's a really great number. In fact, I would even say this. Where does that rank? Let me check where that ranks all time. And my computer's moving slow because I'm doing all this stuff on it. Matter of fact, I use this for my research. That's the great cool thing about having 2 computers. I'm doing too much
Bristol setup over there.
Oh yeah, man. Got you. Where's this thing at? 1 second. Yeah. I'm trying to see where these guys at, man. They y'all coming in?
I mean, I'm hoping they show up, man. I mean,
I saw Ethan earlier. I'm trying to see if
he's go outside with you guys. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, I want to hear some objections here.
And from a numeric, not because I like somebody, because this my list is not based on who I like.
Right.
Like it's really not. Let's see, career point per game, NBA history. All right, so Kobe was at 25 points per game for his career. All right, so that puts Kobe Bryant at 25 points per game at 13th.
Okay.
13th all time, right? So 13th all time.
Points per game, correct?
Points per game. That's points per game.
Okay.
Right. So Kobe 13th. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna Google statistical argument for Kobe Bryant as greatest of all time. Because I want to give these people a chance, because this I want to pause, and I know I'm taking more time here than I did on other ones. just because of the fact that I want to clear up some misnomers surrounding Kobe Bryant. And I hate to say it, and I said this before, the guy, I knew when he passed, this would happen.
Right.
I knew when he passed, this would happen. And I really hate to even bring that into it. But we know, just like when Nipsey died, Nipsey became the greatest rapper of all time. Pop died, Pop was the greatest rapper of all time. Biggie died, he was the greatest rapper of all time. But, whatever. Now, let's look at his statistical. Let's see. So it says he's the 4th leading scorer in NBA history. He's 2nd in All-Star appearances. He won 5 NBA championships, had 1 MVP, and averaged 25 points per game. He was also named All Defensive Team 12 times, which is the 2nd most in league history, which is a great stat. That's a great stat. But those are the stats.
I will say, I feel like Kobe deserves. I don't. Matter of fact, let me take that word "deserves" out. I personally feel Kobe probably should have actually got more MVPs.
I think Kobe should have one more MVP.
Right, one more, and we're talking about that 2nd year of
the second Steve Nash one. The second Steve Nash one should have been a Kobe one.
The first Steve Nash MVP, I feel, is justified.
It's justified, or it could have been Shaq.
Right, and I understand why people don't want to believe that, but again, we're talking about most valuable player. That has nothing to do with who is the best player.
Right.
When he came onto that Phoenix team, his value immediately made them a playoff contender, a title contender, I guess, in quotations, if that's how you want to look. They immediately improve, hence why he was the most valuable. That second one, I can't see that he did much more than his first year for him to get MVP.
Yeah, again, I agree. I think let me see. I definitely think, let me tag these guys. I'm trying to see when these guys coming in. I definitely think that Kobe should have had 2 MVPs. I do not see a role for Kobe to have more than 2 MVPs. And if we can't objectively find 2 years where he didn't deserve the MVP, how can we put him above players who have 4 and 5 MVPs?
Right.
We can't. All right.
That's why I can't put him above a player like a Tim Duncan.
Right.
I mean, granted, and you gotta look at it too. They both played against the same competition. They played in the same era, but I feel like if we're including accolades,
right.
I want to say Timmy's resume is a little more impressive.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying it's far more impressive.
Right.
Just a little bit more.
Which gets me to my next, but that gets me to my number 7. So I think I made the Kobe point, and I'll come back to that once I get some more people involved in that discussion, because I trust me, I have it for them. Tim is my number 7. Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, probably, like I said on the show last night, probably when you're talking about everything that you want a big guy in the league to do, you want Tim Duncan. All right. What's the list so far? Who's? I see. I can't see the name on here. You have to click. You have to click it where I can share your name, because I can't see your name. So I'm gonna have to click on it over here. Somebody just asked who was the top 10 so far. That's Maurice. All right. So my list so far: 10 Bird, 9 Shaq, 8 Kobe. And I just talked a lot about Kobe. I'll come back to that. Maurice, I'd love for you to get in on this discussion as well, bro. So if you want to click that link, we can bring you in, and you can also be a part of this discussion, and we can talk about it. And I want to bring in as many people as want to be involved in this discussion. So this is not, I do not have a monopoly on information. I want to say this as well. Just because I feel this way doesn't make it 100% right. All right? This is Rajon's thoughts based on statistical analysis. This is the way I look at statistics. I want to. Oh, Chris, let me start back at my qualifications, because I see we have 2 people in there. I want to make sure.
Right.
All right. So my number 1 qualifier is numbers. Stats, statistics matter. All right. Number 2, impact. Right, impact on the game. All right. Can they tell the story of basketball without mentioning your name? And what is your impact on the overall game and on the teams that you played for? 3, accolades. That's achievements, individual, not rings. Achievements. When you talk about yeah, I see you, Mo. Accolades, MVPs, all defensive team, all NBA, things of that nature. Hall of Fame as well. And then 4, rings. 4 rings. How many rings did you accumulate? I see rings as a separator, not as the first thing to look at. And I made the point earlier to Chris that, if we were just going to go by rings, then pretty much we all need to redo our list and just start counting rings. And I promise you're not going to like that list that you come up with. I'm just telling you. So I use rings as my separator of people who are neck and neck in that way. My 10 was 10 was Larry Bird. 9 was Shaq. 8 was Kobe. 7 was Tim. Eye test will really go into impact for me, but that's only one part. I won't use eye test to overcome numbers.
Now, when you're talking about impact, I just want to hear your opinion on this because, like I said, I like stuff I could see. Facts, numbers. I mean,
yes.
These things happen. Now, yes. Impact, in my opinion, could be a little subjective. So that argument's a little abstract. Just because
impact is objective. That's why it's subjective. Impact is subjective, and that's why it's not my number one indicator. Right. The only thing that's subjective, the only thing that we cannot debate are the numbers.
Right. Absolutely.
We can't debate numbers and we can't debate rings. We can't. We can't debate numbers. We can't debate rings. But rings can't be our number one indicator. Right?
Just because it's not an individual act.
No, it's not. It's a team statistic. Rings are a team statistic. Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time, according to a lot of y'all, didn't win anything, despite the fact that y'all said he refused to let his team lose, though his team lost quite a few times. Maybe not the finals. Maybe not the finals. But okay, and we'll get to that argument when it's time to get to that argument. Right. But so that's why I use rings last again. But I definitely think impact is important, and I'll even throw eye test in there. So let's throw eye test in there. I think impact and eye test sort of go hand in hand. So I'll put eye test at 4 after accolades, before rings, because I still think rings is a separator. It's not a number one stat.
Okay.
I don't think it's a number one step. All right. And that's just me. You may use a different criterion, and that's completely fine. But if you tell me that rings is your number one requirement, then you need to completely redo your list. It's just like, I want you to think about it this way. When you are making a spreadsheet, you can set the spreadsheet to sort certain ways, right?
Right.
If you have it set with an alphabetical order is first, the first thing they're going to order is alphabetical order. Then they're going to go to the next thing. Then they go to the next thing. You can't say, alphabetical order, but I want age. I want this person's age to come before this person's age. No. It's an absolute list. It's an absolute list. So if your rings is your number one requirement, then you have to start with the players who have the most rings and then start separating that way.
Pretty much a whole top 10, top 5, or top
Boston
10
Celtics. He's going to be listing Boston Celtics players that played with Bill Russell. Bill Russell at number 1. So I'm just going to come back to that. All right. So again, 10 Bird, 9 Shaq, 8 Kobe, 7 Tim Duncan. I spoke about Tim Duncan. I think Tim Duncan is one of the greatest players of all time, of course, because he's on the list. That just makes sense. 6, Bill Russell. And this is where 6 is where my list got hard.
Yeah.
6 is where my list got hard because I did not want to do a top 5 of players that we can't measure competition level. That's subjective. That's extremely subjective. And I would tell you, and I see your point about competition level. You can't tell me competition levels vary based on the fact that the competition is always the competition. You're always in the competition that you have. You grew up with that competition. So look at somebody like, and I'll pause right there on my Tim Duncan argument, just to make this point. right? LeBron James is a product of his era.
Yes.
Michael Jordan is a product of his era. Wilt Chamberlain was a product of his era, and he dominated it.
Now
he's a product of his era, and he dominated. He was far ahead of it. But Wilt Chamberlain was 6'10". The average Wilt Chamberlain was 6'11", 7 foot, right?
Right.
The average NBA center when Wilt Chamberlain played was 6'10". And there were only 8 teams. So you can tell me, oh, well, they didn't have that many great players. They only had 8 teams. You don't need that many great players.
No.
Okay? So all the talent was condensed into 8 teams. Could you imagine our NBA now with 8 teams? Just think about that. Think about the teams they be trotting out there if there are only 8 teams in the NBA. So competition level, it's all relative. So we cannot factor that, use that as a separator of the. Now you can say style of play has changed, style of play has improved, but you can't say, oh well, drop LeBron James from 2014 into 1960, and what does he look like? Well, he looks like a player in 1960 because he's not going to have the same strength and training regimen. He's not going to have the same nutrition. He's not going to have the same stuff to pick up from. Like that's you can't do that.
I agree. I do hate when people bring up that argument, and you're right. There's so many. Okay, like the one you always hear, with Babe Ruth, right? Not to digress from NBA, but everybody always says, well, look at Babe Ruth's competition. He didn't play against, Black and Latino players. Well, Black and Latino players would have still pretty much had the same, I guess. Like to your point, training regimen. None of these players had nutritionists back in the day. They didn't exactly travel in the most luxurious ways either. Mm-hmm. So you gotta look. You gotta look at that. Think about Bill Russell traveling on a plane. This guy, how tall was Bill Russell? What?
Bill Russell was
6'10", 6'11".
I think Bill Russell was 6'9", 6'10".
Okay, I'm 6'2". There are some cars I feel uncomfortable with, and these cars are a lot more luxurious and a lot more comfort than what he actually had to travel in. Just think about that. Your body is constantly under stress. Yeah. If for him to be that tall and go through that much punishment, doing the traveling that he is doing without all the luxuries of, like you said, training facility, nutrition, or what does LeBron do? He does like the cryo freeze.
Cryogenic chamber.
Right. So to help heal your body, for him to do that and win all those championships consistently, what was it? 8 in a row, 11 and
11 as a player, 13, 11, 8 in a row, 11 as a player, 13 including his coaching years.
That to me amazes me more than anything else. Level competition is going to be level of competition wherever you go. That is going to vary. And the reason why players seem to be a lot more enhanced now is because of these things that are easily accessible to us. We have more at our disposal as just the common man, as just middle-class men who are not professional athletes than Bill Russell probably did. Right down the road is in maybe a 10-mile radius from where I'm at in my home. It's probably like 20 gyms. Yeah. Think about what he had, man. I mean, that to me, to perform with your body constantly under stress, it to me is absolutely amazing.
True. Now, so Maurice, I want to echo the fact that once again, click the link, bro. Come on in, join the discussion. All right.
Yeah, come on in.
This is pretty simple. There's you're doing a lot of typing, which I appreciate. But jump in, join the discussion. Let's talk about this, right? It's really easy. Just click the link, join the discussion. But with that being said, we just talked. I just wanted to talk about that for the purposes of competition level. Again, 8 teams. That means that each of those teams are going to be stacked. We talked about the average height for a center during Wilt's time. I ain't even gotten to Wilt yet, so I'm gonna pause that and I'll come back to that. We'll talk about that in a second. But click the link, Come on in. There's Maurice. There we go. All right. Now we cooking.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
All right.
Cool,
So this is what we're gonna do. Let's go back. I just did my 10, 9, and 8 and 7. So who's your 10?
Huh?
Who's your 10?
Who's my 10?
Yeah. Who's number 10?
If I was starting with my 10, I gotta think about this. Not based on like based on what you said, your criteria, right?
If you need the different,
I'm gonna be honest, because I lean more towards the modern day players because that's what I've seen.
And I can respect that.
I go with that a lot more than I go with.
I can respect that. That's
one. But I mean, just because I don't disrespect the great. So if I was going like that, I'll probably have somebody like I'll probably have Bird. I'll be cool with Bird being 10.
I have Bird at 10.
I'll probably put Wilt right under Bird. I'll put Russell. I wouldn't even, matter of fact, Bill Russell not even in my top 10. Bill Russell is not even in my top 10.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that out there.
All right.
So then I would have what I said, Bird, Wilt. Then I would put Magic.
Okay.
And then what's that? 7? That's 10, 8.
Yeah.
That's 10, 9, 8.
Uh-huh.
So number 7. Then I go into Tim Duncan.
All right. So stop there.
Number 6.
That's where we at. All right. Stop right there because that's where we have 6. All right. So
okay, 6.
So 1, thank you for sharing that. I want you to think about this though, right? Now we talked about 8 players, 8 teams, right? 8 teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
8 teams in the NBA. You have Wilt at 9. You have Wilt at 9. Yeah. Name me the other NBA players that average 50 points in a league season.
But that's what I'm saying though. Wilt played against I understand. That's why
he played against the greatest defensive center of all time.
Who can I say that Wilt that could
Bill Russell
besides Bill Russell and Kareem when Kareem got in the league?
Bill Russell. Do you just name Kareem? Alvin Hayes?
See, I think Shaq is the best center of all time.
Shaq is not at all the best center of all time. And Shaq would laugh you out of the room if you told Shaq you thought he was the best center of all time. Shaq would tell you
Shaq is the best in all time. Man.
Shaq would tell you he's probably the 5th best center of all time.
I mean, that's gonna be his opinion, of course, but I'm gonna take Shaq. I mean, you gotta think about it. He played in an era with, but just like you said that, Magic Johnson, Shaq, all these guys, they say Kobe is the best Laker, but you guys still will put Magic over.
That was different. And that was completely different. So, when Magic said that,
the same thing, I gotta still. I mean,
no. The difference is this. The difference is this, and you're really like as I'm going through my list because I'm about to get to number 5, which is Magic. My number 5 is Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson played in the league 12 years. He missed the finals 3 times.
Okay, but
he missed the
who was on
finals.
Team? He had Kareem. He had the all-time leading scorer on his team, and he had James Worthy, one of the best small forwards of all time.
But guess what? Guess what you just told me? You just told me
he had Brian. He had Cooper.
You just told me
Michael Thompson.
Okay, cool. All right. So how many of those other players will show up on this top 10 list that you're talking about?
You say what?
How many of these other players you're naming are showing up on this top 10 list that you're talking about?
Magic and Kareem. They're both, and you about to name both of them as top 5 players of all time. Who else got that?
Yeah, right. But hold on. Who is your top 5 though? Because you just said Shaq was the greatest center of all time. You just said Shaq was the greatest center of all time.
Facts.
Okay, so Shaq is the top center. And where do you have Kobe?
I got Kobe number 2.
Okay, so where you have where's Shaq?
Behind Jordan.
All right, and then you got Shaq.
I got Kobe. Matter of fact, because I got Shaq at 5. I got I got Jordan number 1, Kobe number 2, LeBron number 3. Now I'm gonna say Shaq at 4, actually. Yeah, Shaq at 4. Then I'm gonna move Duncan down to 5.
How can you so you got Shaq's whole career against Kareem's whole career, and you take Shaq?
But see, that's okay. So now that's why I said
we're talking careers.
Hold on, that's why I said in the comments, if we going by like legacies and things like that, of course I'm gonna have Kareem and all those guys. But if we just simply looking at these players like how they play, come on, man, Shaq would dominate Kareem.
No, because you're talking about something different. Now you're talking about something different. That's how I rank them. Numbers, impact,
I see how you
accolades,
yeah.
eye test, rings. You cannot tell me that Shaq's career is better than Kareem's career.
No. Kareem is a greater, I would say he's a greater player than Shaq. Like, as far
That's
as
what
like,
we're talking about.
stats,
Greatest players of
accolades,
all
all
time.
in the, but this is what I'm saying. That's why I say it has to be another list, because if you put Kareem in the era that Shaq played in, which I feel like was the best era of centers, when you have Patrick Ewing, Dikembe Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, and Shaq still stood out. If you put Kareem in that, would he still stand out?
How many of those players did you just name in your top 10?
How many of them did I just name?
How many of those centers you just named in your top 10?
Dream, I'm gonna put Dream in my top 10.
You didn't put Dream in your top 10. You just gave me your top 10.
Probably just Dream and Shaq. Yeah.
You
But that's
just
what I'm saying.
gave me your top 10.
I gotta really sit and think about it. I gave it to you on the fly. But Dream and Shaq will be in the top 10.
So, Maurice,
those are the best two centers in my opinion of all time. Dream and Shaq. Shaq number one, Dream number two.
Let me step in here, man. I just want to ask this question. So, you mentioned the era of you mentioned the list of centers that Shaq played against.
I can't hear you going in and out.
My fault. My
service bad. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. No, you listed a list of you gave me a list of centers that Shaq played against. You know, your Ewings, your Olajuwons, I can't even think, Admiral, and everybody like that. And Shaq stood out.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
It's chopping up. Yeah.
Rez, you can hear me?
I hear you good.
Okay. No, I'm just saying you gave a list of different centers that Shaq played against.
I think
you said Shaq.
It's probably my service, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, it's all good, man.
I'll express it to him. I got you, Maurice. I'm listening now.
Okay. So he gave a list of different centers that Shaq played against, and Shaq stood out. I'll give him that, just because Shaq is a dominant force.
Shaq's the most dominant player. I just said that. Shaq is the most dominant player I've ever watched.
And I get that. Now, what he said was, if you put Kareem in Shaq's era, what would he do? And I feel like, to me, to start putting different players in different eras is a little unfair. Again, if you pick Kareem in an era of Shaq and give him all the advantages that Shaq had, your nutritionist, your training facility, your comfort level, hell, even salary at this point, how would he have performed lesser or more than what he did in his era?
And if you
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And if you put Kareem in Shaq's era, guess what didn't exist yet? Kareem. So Shaq wouldn't know.
But that's why
Shaq studied Kareem to get his game. But that's two different discussions. That's my whole point. But like, that's a lot of stuff that we say when y'all say, well, what about this? And I'll say, well, that's a different discussion. But we're talking about greatest players of all time. Their career matters. Their entire career, not just the prime of their career.
Yeah, it does.
Allen Iverson. If we were just talking about people's primes, Allen Iverson's in my top 5.
Oh, hands down.
Who?
Allen Iverson. If we were just talking about the tippy top of their
career, is in your top 5.
In prime years. If we're just taking out cherry picking just prime years.
If we are only talking about primes, then Allen Iverson's in my top 5. But we're talking about greatest players of all time. That's your entire career. That's from your rookie year until you retire. Sorry, he went out. Come back, man. I like you. Come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get, because if Shaq's whole career was what we saw from 95
Let me go, okay?
Until 2003, bruh. Yes.
I gotta go.
Sign me up.
All right, I love you.
I agree.
Sign me up. Is he back? He's trying to come back. Maurice?
Oh man, I'm back.
All right, yeah. So what I was saying was,
service.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
All right, cool. So what I was saying was, if you, and I just told Chris, I said, if you're telling me I get Shaq from 96 all the way through 2003, and that's the only Shaq I get to consider, then yeah, that guy might be number 1. That guy, how do I say that someone is better than what we all saw to be the most dominant force of our lifetimes. Michael Jordan was not more dominant than Shaquille O'Neal from 1996 to 2003. He was not.
No.
He was not. So, with that being said, we have to talk about the totality of their careers. That is everywhere from their rookie year until their retirement. And in some cases, you can even throw in their college years. So when you look at what puts Kareem over the top, when you talk about Kareem, and I'll get to Kareem. I'm not gonna say Kareem yet. But so we're at 5. I have Magic Johnson. Like I said, he played in the league 12 years, missed the final 3 times, won 5 rings. Magic is an alien when it comes to basketball to me. Like one of the best court vision of all time, changed the game the way the point guard position is played in a lot of ways, and established the tall point guard as well as a thing that could be. And really
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt you, man. I'm gonna have to hop off for a minute. Little man's got to be put down for a nap.
Do that. Come back, bro.
All right. Well, do. Say hi.
Bye.
All right.
I'll remove you from the stream. All right. Yeah. So number 5, Magic Johnson. Save the NBA. Save the NBA. Him and Larry Bird. If you look at the state of what an NBA was, games were on tape delay. Magic made people watch. And I also want to say this, and this is something I said last night on the show. Racism also saved the NBA because that gave them a black player to pit against a white player, and we know how much America does that. Check boxing every time there's a lull in action. All right, my number 4 is Wilt Chamberlain. All right, my number 4 of all time is Wilt Chamberlain because I did not want to have a list of all players. I didn't want to have a list of all players that I didn't get to watch. Like I don't think that's cool. But I had to either keep Wilt or Russell. Russell's my 6. Wilt's my 4. You cannot deny a few things about Wilt. One, I could send you to a gym right now with a group of middle school students. Right? You're a grown man. I could send you to the gym with middle school students. You will not average 50 points a game in a season against those kids.
Shit.
You would not.
50 points?
50 points a game. You would not.
I think I would. I would.
You would not. One, because the amount of cardio, the amount of cardio that you'd have to do to be able to get up and down the court for that amount of games. And I believe then they play like 65, 70 games a season. So they weren't playing 80 games. But again, they had 8 teams, so talent was condensed. One thing that people talk about, especially when they talk about the Jordan era, is that we added 4 expansion teams during the Jordan era, and that watered down the competition. There was no watering down.
I couldn't say it watered down.
It did. Because think about it. Think about those Lakers teams.
It just spread players out.
That waters it down, bro. That's what watering down is.
I mean, but how though? Instead of just having like one stack team versus the other stack team, you got you the alpha dog of this team, you the alpha dog of this team, instead of having 3 of them, you got just one on each team, man. You do what you do.
No. Because then what happens is you have so many teams that you don't have enough alpha dogs to go around, and that's what we have now. That's why you have, the Pelicans who've been trying to find a star for how long, and then they get one, and it's like, oh, having one's not enough. But you get Boston, who gets 3. You get Boston, who gets 3 and Rondo, and then it's like, nobody's beating them.
That's what I'm saying. Just like the Warriors, you get them 3 and you add the rest.
Yes, but that's why the Warriors are more. So back then, almost all the teams were like the Warriors. Think about it. If we only had 8 teams, we only had 8 teams right now.
Yeah.
What would this league, like our league would be nuts, bro.
Yeah, if we had 8 teams right now, it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy.
So would you think the competition level go up or down based on that?
The competition level will go up.
That's my point. That's my point about competition.
Teams will be fighting for those little playoff spots.
That's my point about competition level. If you told me back then they had 32 teams, they had 30 teams back then yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's watered down. Because not only are they not as talented as these players currently are, but they're spread out. And that's all I'm trying. That's all I've ever said. That's the only thing I've ever said is like, we have to consider so much when we're considering those older players. It's a lot of things that they have to deal with that our players now don't have to deal with. If you were to take away, and this is another reason why I make the point that teams that are not good in the NBA for a certain amount of time should be relegated to the D League. That's why I make that point.
That's true too.
I make that point consistently. But yeah, Wilt, 50 points a game. The year he averaged 50 points a game, he averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds a game. He's the only center in league history to lead the league in assists.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But that's why I would put Wilt in my top 10 though, because I think his athleticism would be able to translate through any era.
Yeah.
And I think he'd be good enough to dominate. Like he's 7'1", he was 200 plus.
Yeah, he was 210, which is light. Which be light now. Yeah, he played at 210, 220. So that would be light now for a center. But he'd have the athleticism to be able to make the rest of it work. But then put him now.
And he was strong. And he was strong as hell now. And
he was dumb strong. Yes. And he played with the Globetrotters. So he was all kind of.
That's why I always put Wilt in my top 10 though, because I think his athleticism would help him translate easier than damn near anybody else in his era.
Respect, all respect there, definitely. So that's why I have Wilt there, and I don't even throw in the 100-point game, but that 100-point game, nobody's done it. And how do we know he could get to the 100-point game? Because if you look at the top 10 games of all time, top 10 scoring games of all time, guess who owns 6 of them?
Who?
Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay, Wilt, yeah.
So you can't tell me he couldn't get to 100 if he got to 80.
See, Wilt is different.
He was different, man. But the reason I can't put Wilt 1, and this is, I used to die on the Wilt Hill. Wilt was the guy I would fight to the death for a long time. But Wilt, along with LeBron James, are the only 2 players in the top 10 with a losing NBA Finals record. They're the only 2.
Yes.
So I can't put Wilt above the other guys who have the numbers, who have that when we talk about those other things. So that's the only reason why Wilt isn't higher than 4 on my list. Dang. Only reason why he's not higher than 4 on my list. Maurice, come back, man. I was enjoying that discussion, man. This is good. And it's always better in video. So those of y'all, like I said, man, I know y'all think I'm like a mean guy or whatever, but I promise you I'm not. I'm like probably one of the coolest people you ever meet. Join in, click the link, come on in. Maurice was in, Chris was in. I'd love to hear y'all list. All right, so I got y'all to 4. Maurice is back. Good. All right, you back.
My doggone server's acting up, man.
It's all good, man. I appreciate you staying on. And I was just telling everybody, I was like, look, man, like, one, these debates are a whole lot more fun in video than they are in typing them out. So, like, I enjoyed it. So I want more guys to come in. The link is in the comment section. Just click the link.
Exactly.
Come on in and join us, man. So who do you have at 3?
Who do I have at 3? LeBron.
You have 3 LeBron. I have LeBron at 3 as well. Right? So I have LeBron at 3 as well. And I'll make my point for I'll make my argument for LeBron at 3 and not higher. LeBron was drafted in 2003 as the most celebrated high school player of all time. Nobody came into the league. Nobody in the history of the NBA, not Michael Jordan, not Kobe Bryant, not Kevin Garnett. None of those guys came into the league with the target on their back that LeBron came to the league with. None of them. And not only has LeBron been as good as he was supposed to be, LeBron's been better than he was supposed to be. LeBron has exceeded every expectation that anybody could have had for him in 2003 coming into the league. This is fact. After LeBron, how many people have been supposed to be the next LeBron and have never been the next LeBron? Nobody.
You say after LeBron what?
Everybody who's been slated to be the next LeBron. And I could run you down the players who are supposed to be the next LeBron. All of them bugged out. Sebastian Telfair was supposed to be the next LeBron. Remember that? Sebastian Telfair. All right? He's going to come back. Sebastian Telfair was supposed to be the next LeBron. He wasn't. Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be the next LeBron. He wasn't. All of these players are supposed to come in the league and dominate the league year one, and didn't. LeBron was the only LeBron. I dare say there will never be another LeBron. LeBron also had to deal with the issue of social media. He was the first athlete, first NBA superstar in the social media era. All right, and I'll let Maurice come back in. But he's the first athlete in the social media era to face the level of scrutiny game to game that LeBron has had to face. We're watching a documentary about Michael Jordan, where Michael Jordan talks about the pressure of playing and it being too much, right? At a certain point, he's like, I can just walk away and, I don't have to deal with this. Michael Jordan was being criticized by newspaper columnists. Newspaper columnists who had to wait to get press in, right? Oh, man, I see you. Let me, you have to click it where I can share your name. I can't see your name. So let me pause that real quick. But yeah, so LeBron James came in as a rookie, fresh out of high school, and did better than anybody ever thought he could do. Social media era. Michael Jordan, we watching this documentary. Michael Jordan says, the pressure was, I got tired of being criticized by people for this and got tired of being criticized by people for that. So I left. LeBron James isn't criticized at the end of the game. LeBron is criticized in the midst of the game. Play by play in a 24-hour news cycle. To me, being able to deal with that pressure and still thrive the way that LeBron has, gotta be top three. Gotta be top three. Numbers, all right? LeBron, we talk about, let me see. I put up the ranking for all-time scorers. Where's it at? LeBron James has 12 all-NBA first teams. First of all time. Number one, all time. Total selections, 15, tied with Kobe, all time. But LeBron was first all NBA first team 12 times. And when they do it this year, he's going to be there again. So that's be 13 times. How do we X that out? We can't. We can't X that out. We can't act like that didn't happen. Number one scorer in playoff history in both average and total points. Those are just a few. 4-time MVP, league MVP, 3-time NBA Finals champion, 3-time Finals MVP. Kobe has 5 rings. Yes, 2 MVPs. So LeBron James, to me, number 3, without a doubt. I don't think that there's a question about LeBron James at number 3. Would I argue with somebody if they want to tell me somebody else is number 3? Depends on who that person is that they're replacing with. Number 2. This is where we need to have a discussion. I see you, Maurice. Number 2. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I'll pause there. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Michael Jordan is number 2, and I'm going to tell you why Michael Jordan is number 2. 1, Michael Jordan played for, I want to say 13 years total. 13 years total. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. He retired twice. He didn't win any playoff series that did not include Scottie Pippen. Now, he is 6-0 in the finals, which is great. Which is why he's the second greatest player of all time to me. 4 MVPs. No, 5 MVPs. 5 most valuable players. 14-time All-Star. 6-time Finals MVP. 10-time scoring champion. Only player to win Defensive Player of the Year and MVP in the same year, even though I think LeBron should have done it at least once. Rookie of the Year, 3-time All-Star Game MVP. I mean, what can you not what can you say about MJ except greatness? Number 2 player of all time is not anything to sneeze at. Which gets me to my number 1. My number 1 greatest player of all time. And this may change one day in the future. But right now, number 1 greatest player of all time, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm going to run you through a few statistics about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And every time we have this discussion, the most disrespected player in that discussion is always Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let me pull up his stats real quick. Because stats matter. And those who know me know I live by a credo that I hold near and dear to my heart. Men lie, women lie. Numbers don't. Numbers do not lie. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Listen to these stats. Listen to these stats. 6-time world champion. All right, so he has as many rings as Jordan, right? 6-time most valuable player. He has more championships than Jordan. 19-time All-Star. 2-time Finals MVP. 10-time first NBA first team. 5-time NBA second team. So that's 15 times he was on either the first team or the second team. 5-time All-Defensive. 6-time All-Defensive second team. That's 11 times he was either first team or second team. 2-time scoring champion. But then I also add in this, because when you're separating the greats of the greats from the greats of the greats, when you're doing that, you go and you dig a little deeper. Kareem won 3 high school championships and won, I believe, a championship every year he played at UCLA. Every year. And he retired after 4 years. Every year he was at UCLA, he won a championship. There was a 2-year period where he lost 1 game. 1. To me, that is the greatest player of all time. To me, that is the greatest player of all time. Oh, Chris will come back in. To me, that's the greatest player of all time. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I'm interested in finding out what you guys think about that. Yeah, man. Let me see something. I don't know something. All right, so Chris is back. Yo.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I just gave my 3, my 2, and my 1. All right. So
okay.
My 3 was LeBron. I spoke about, and I'm recapping for those who are watching. If you're watching on replay, I'm just gonna recap a couple points that I made about my 3, my 2, and my 1. Number 3, LeBron came into the league in 2003 as the most celebrated high school player of all time. Like the most celebrated high school. All the expectations that were put on LeBron before he stepped foot into the league, he should have crashed and burned.
Would you say he's probably the most celebrated player to enter the draft period?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say that he probably is. And I'm trying to think. And the only reason I would say maybe not is because I wasn't alive when Magic came into the league. But Magic was coming off of that national championship against Larry Bird. He was the assured number 1 pick in that draft, and he just came off that big national championship. So I don't know. That's why I said no. All the high school players, guys who didn't have time to develop their game in college, and become men before coming to the league, like LeBron James came to the league as a man at 18.
I agree.
And from the time he came to the league, LeBron has not only lived up to the expectation, LeBron has exceeded any expectation that anybody could have had of what he would have been coming out of high school. As great as he is, as much as they expected from him, he's done more.
Right.
He's done more.
There's no argument there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He should have crashed and burned. You're right. At 18, should have crashed and burned.
And let's look at every next LeBron that was supposed to be. How many next LeBrons were there supposed to be? How many people were supposed to be the guy? Sebastian Telfair was supposed to be the next LeBron. Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be the next LeBron. Every single high school player that is halfway decent thinks they're the next LeBron. There will never be another LeBron. Like there will never be another Wilt. There just won't.
And I think there's so much added pressure to that. I feel like the hype wouldn't have been as big if Cleveland didn't have the first pick.
Well, no, remember Cleveland tanked to get LeBron.
Yeah. So it just adds to the narrative that here he is like, what can this guy do to save Northeast Ohio? He is pretty much homegrown at this point. Because if he would have went to Milwaukee, I don't think the hype would have been there, but would not have been nowhere near as high if he went to a Milwaukee or San Antonio or something like that, somewhere that is not in his backyard growing up.
Yo, AJ, click the link, man. Come on in. Right. Let me see.
Nowhere near as high if he went to.
AJ, click the link. Come on in, man. You're not too late. We got you. Because we want to get everybody. I want as many perspectives on this as we can possibly get. But yeah, LeBron's number 3. I want to continue that discussion. LeBron James. Let me look up because actually I haven't looked up LeBron's career stats in a long time. James career stats, and the fact that he's the only player on the list that's still active in my top 10. He's the only one.
Hey, how many times has he actually won scoring titles?
He's won, I want to say 1 scoring title, maybe 2.
And he very well may be actually break Kareem's record.
Oh, he's going to.
With one scoring title.
Oh, he's going to.
Yeah.
He's going to. So LeBron James averages for his career. Listen to this. 27.1 points a game. That's insane. 27.1 points a game for his career. Now, my Kobe people, right? Remind you, Kobe was my number 8. Y'all tell me that Kobe's one of the greatest scorers of all time. LeBron James averages 27.1 points a game. Kobe Bryant averaged 25 points a game. He also averaged he also averages 7.4 points per game and 7.4 assists per game. He averages 27, 7, and 7 for his career. In his 17th year in the league.
Video game numbers.
Fam, those are video game numbers. Those are video game numbers. He's number 1 in playoff. He's number 1 playoff. Yeah, definitely. You can comment, bro. Number 1 in playoff scoring, both average and total numbers. Number 1 finals. I think Jordan has the number 1 finals scoring average. LeBron James has the second highest scoring average in the NBA finals. Dude, like the amount when we talk about the great finals performances of our lifetimes, you're not going to be able to have that discussion without LeBron James. You won't. That's why he's at number 3.
You know what? Speaking about finals performances, let's go back to 2016.
Oh, yes.
Everybody always talks about Kyrie. Don't get me wrong. Kyrie put on in games 4. Games 5, 6, and 7. Because they were down 3-1. But let's not forget LeBron put on too. Like something changed at game 5 with him. And both of them absolutely went off. But Kyrie gets the mention because he hit the final shot.
Well, remember, but if it doesn't matter if Kyrie hits that shot if LeBron doesn't get that block.
Yeah, LeBron doesn't. You're right. LeBron had to get that block first.
He doesn't get that block. It doesn't happen.
Game's over.
LeBron averaged 29.7 points, 11.3 rebounds, and 8.9 assists.
Now, I hate cherry picking, but I would love to see what his averages are in the last 3 games of that finals.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you remember, it was almost like he could not miss a shot.
So the last 3, so 5, 6, and 7. 5, 6, and 7, LeBron got 41, 41, and 32.
Yeah. It's almost like he could not miss a shot that game in those games.
He got 41. He got 41, 41, and 42. Those are crazy numbers. You said the sound went off? All right, hopefully it'll come back. I don't know what happened. Let me see. You can hear me, right, Chris?
Yeah, I can hear you clear.
All right, so I don't know. Let me X out of this other stuff I got going on. I had a lot of screens open.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had another screen right now because I would love to not only see how many points he scored in those last 3 finals games, but what was the shooting percentage as well.
Right.
Like again, it's not the amount of points that got me. It's the fact that, like I said, he could not miss if he wanted to.
Right. Let me see what's going on with the sound here. Let me turn the sound on. Yo. Oh, so it sounded good. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, we get that fixed. All right, can you hear me now? Is that better? No, the sound's still not there. Oh, hold on, no, it's still muted. Let me see. Oh no, my sound's good. You need it. Your sound, yeah. I don't know what's going on with your sound, man, because I'm listening to it on my other computer, right next to me. So the sound's good. So just like check your mute and stuff or whatever. Maybe your stuff went out. I don't know. Oh, I need to plug this up. RJ, come plug up this computer. All right, plug up the computer. So with all that being said about LeBron James, all the great accolades, 4-time MVP, 3-time Finals MVP. Going to the finals 9 times. Let's talk about going to the finals 9 times. Yeah, he's 3-6 in the finals. Going to the finals 9 times is not easy.
It's a lot of mileage.
It's not easy. Like, that's not easy. All right. So that's another, to me, going to the finals 9 times is another pro on the LeBron side. It's another pro on the LeBron side. Winning 3 of them instead of winning more than 3 of them, which he may get to 4 this year if they finish this season. I think that is what separates 3 from 2 and 1 for me. Now, why can't I put LeBron higher than that? And I'm going to tell you why I can't put LeBron higher than that. 2014.
Yeah, that was rough.
2014, as somebody who's a LeBron fan, that still doesn't sit right with me. We saw what happened against Dallas. They were up 2-1 on Dallas, and then the wheels fell off. Like, the wheels fell off. And I don't know what happened with LeBron. I don't know why. You said 2014? Yeah, against Dallas.
No, that was 2011. 2014 was against the Spurs.
Sorry, not 2014, 2011.
Yeah, I was like, I was sitting at Buffalo Wild Wings with Jovan watching that game.
Yeah, 2011 against Dallas. That year, the Heat should have won that series. But I think that there are a few things that played against them. But the fact that LeBron James did not cement himself established himself as the most dominant player on the floor game after game after game, that's going to haunt LeBron for the rest of his life. And that's why I can't put him any higher than 3.
Okay.
All right. I can't put him any higher than 3 based on that. And then, of course, the 3, that's also when the 3 and 9 comes in. So we're looking at, we're separating the 3 from the 2 and from the 1. This is not time to like this is how you bring in the extra indicators, and I'm going to get into my extra indicators when I get to Kareem and Michael, who are my top two. Numbers, LeBron has the numbers. Impact, we talked about that. Accolade, eye test. That eye test that came into play when we talk about that 2011 finals. It also comes into play when you talk about that's the one that they lost to Spurs the second time. The eye test also applies there. Even though LeBron played really well, you can kind of say Kawhi got in that butt. You can say Kawhi got in that butt. Those Golden State Warriors years, I do not hold those against him at all. At all. At all. He took a team that was duct taped together to six with those guys, man. Like, what was it? Was it 5 or 6? The first time when they lost
to
Golden State.
That was 15.
Yeah, 15. I think they went. Yeah. I think he because that was the year where Kevin Love got hurt, Kyrie got hurt,
and Kyrie got hurt, right?
Nova, like they was pulling people off the bench that we never heard of. That's when J.R. Smith started. J.R. Smith was coming off the bench up until that series,
and he still took him 6 games.
Richard Jefferson was on that team, and they still took them 6 games to win that series. So. To me, like LeBron gets like that year, I don't hold that year against him. In fact, if you look at the 9 years, LeBron's team's only been favored in 2 of those series, 2 of those finals appearances. Going into those, like 2 out of 9. And one of the ones he was favored in, he lost. That was the Dallas series. They were favored against Oklahoma City, and they were favored against Dallas. Those are the only ones. Other than that, LeBron's teams were underdogs in every single series, every single finals he played in. All of them. Even in the Heat years. So that speaks to something. So with that being said, moving on to my top 2. My number 2, which I said earlier in the broadcast, but I'll say it again: Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Michael Jordan's my number 2. What can I not say about Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan, 6 rings, 6 MVP, 6 Finals MVPs, 5 league MVPs. Top. Let me pull up Michael Jordan's number. I have his numbers right here, actually. So where is that? 6-time NBA champion, 5-time most valuable player, 14-time NBA All-Star, 6-time Finals MVP, 10-time scoring champion, defensive player in the year, and MVP in the same year. One of the only players to ever do that. All NBA second team. All NBA first team 10 times, and All NBA second team once. 9-time All Defensive first team, NBA Rookie of the Year. Like, we know Mike. We know Mike's accolades. I'll add to it Wooden Award winner in college and won a college championship.
Right.
So what's the knock on Jordan? I got you. And this isn't even a knock. This is just facts that we have to consider when considering the toppity tops. Michael Jordan has 0 playoff wins without Scottie Pippen on his team. He cannot get out of the first round without Scottie Pippen on his team. These are facts. These are statistical numbers that are true. These are true things. Another fact, Michael Jordan has 0 championships without Phil Jackson as his coach.
You're right.
Fact. This is a fact, right? This is a fact. Michael Jordan also, when we talk about, so those are my, and that's really the only knock. That's the only non-subjective knocks that I have on Michael Jordan's career, which is why Michael Jordan is at number 2 for me. Number 1, like I said, when you talk about the greatest of the greatest, you have to throw in everything that matters. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, aka Lou Alcindor.
I want to point out with Kareem. we are talking about arguably the most accomplished athlete
of all
of
time.
all time.
Of all time. So let's
nobody else at any other sport has 6 MVPs.
Let's run through Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career. One, he played 20 seasons.
Yeah.
That in of itself is bananas. 20 NBA
20 seasons as a 7-foot man. You gotta talk about that's a lot of that's a lot of hell on your knees, man.
So 6-time NBA champion, right? His first championship was in 1971. His last championship was in 1987-88, of which he was the Finals MVP.
At that age.
He's the oldest Finals MVP of all time. So you can't give me Shaq when a dude is winning Finals MVPs 17 years apart.
Yeah.
All right. 6-time most valuable player. Michael Jordan has 5. Kareem has 6. That's one more.
Nobody in any other sport has 6 MVPs.
Nobody.
He's literally a league in his own in all 4 major sports.
Yes.
Honestly.
19-time NBA All-Star. 2-time Finals MVP. 15-time first team or second team All-NBA. 11-time first or second team All-Defensive Team. 2-time scoring champion. Now, this is where we dig deeper. I brought up Michael Jordan's college numbers. Kareem won a college championship every year he played in college. He had a 2-year period where they lost 1 game.
That's some UConn numbers right there. UConn girls numbers.
Damn. He played his 4 years in high school. They won championships 3 years. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest basketball player to ever touch a basketball. React.
You can't argue that, honestly.
You can't. There's nothing you can say to that.
I mean, it's not like we could talk about knocks on Jordan about he got cut, this sophomore year and whatever. I mean that. No, not that I want to put much weight on the high school basketball, but
I didn't even bring that up, bro. He played 4 years of high school basketball. He won championships 3 years. You got to remember, your freshman year back then, they didn't let you play on the varsity team. You had to play on the freshman team. That's the only reason he didn't win a 4th championship. Kareem is a created player, bro.
He literally had he literally had a video game career, honestly.
Kareem, it's Kareem. And this is my problem when it comes to 1, the modern era, and 2, ESPN. Because they make Kareem's argument for him, and then they tell you that Michael Jordan is Kareem.
I got one knock against Kareem. I got one single knock against Kareem.
Go for it.
And I don't want to be attacked on it, but I'm just saying.
I'll never attack you.
He couldn't land the airplane by himself.
He could not. This is true. He cannot. He cannot do it. This is true.
He couldn't land the airplane by himself. If for the fellas that don't know that reference, I don't know what to tell you. You gotta go look. You gotta go watch the movie, man. You gotta go watch Airplane if you don't catch that reference.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I mean, man. Speaking about level of competition and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even remember Kareem, the little kid was balding Kareem in the cockpit on the movie.
Uh-huh.
And he was talking about my father this and my father that. And he was like, man, you imagine dragging Bill Walton up and down the floor for 48 minutes?
Right.
Remember that line?
Uh-huh. We were talking.
So it goes against centers that, the the past era has played. So we don't want to leave off Bill Walton, but even though we're not considering him top 10 or anything like that, nowhere close to it.
Longevity.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, he belongs on that wall, but he's not there though. He's not. It's a lot of guys that if you just told me I get their prime and all I get is their prime, this list might change.
Yeah.
This list might change. Because one, I'm taking Prime Wilt over anybody. I'm taking Prime Wilt. You give me Prime Wilt, I'm taking Prime Wilt over anybody. Shaq.
Oh, no doubt.
I get Prime Shaq. Like, it's probably just gonna become centers at that point. Because the thing about centers is their bodies break down. Their bodies break down. And that's why what Kareem did over a 20-year span is so astronomical. Well, I think he played 19, not 20 years, but astronomical. And if he played 19 years, that means he made the NBA All-Star game every year he played. Another fun fact.
Pretty much. He had a video game career, pretty much. That's the way I look at it. A video game career.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is also the most disrespected player in NBA history. That's another list that we got to get to one of these days. But we were talking.
Oh, I would love to do that one.
Even Maurice, me and Maurice were talking, and we actually found common ground because we went back to that argument about competition. And what I explained to him is this: if you can tell me, okay, cool, there's not that many great players. But when there's only 8 teams, that means that all those great players are on those 8 teams.
Right. It wasn't a watered down league.
It wasn't a watered down league. Now you
had the best of the best.
Now we have 30 teams. We have 30 teams. Do you think the competition goes up or down when you add more teams?
Oh, naturally, it's going to go down.
It goes down. So those who argue competition level, they're arguing wrong. I would say the competition was higher during Wilt's time. I would say the competition was higher. If you look at the 80s, the big knock on one of the things that people who are anti-Jordan people, and I'm not really an anti-Jordan person, I'm an objective person. I look at things from the big picture. They say is that MJ had 4 expansion teams that joined the league during his time in the league. 4. We had the Heat, we had the Magic, we had
Grizzlies, and the Raptors.
4 teams joined. So that took the league from 28 teams to 26 teams to 30 teams. Or is it?
Right.
Are there 30 or 32 teams? I think there are 28 teams and 32 teams.
I want to say it's 30 teams, yeah. More than half the league actually makes the playoffs.
Yes. No. It's 32 teams. It's 32 teams.
Okay.
Let me see. I double check it. How many?
No, it's 32 in football, but I'm pretty sure it's 30 in NBA.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was 30. There are 32 NBA teams. There's 30 football teams. There's 32 NBA teams. It's the other way. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But you can't when those 80s teams. Let's look at those 80s teams, right? Those 80s teams were stacked. Do you know why they're stacked? Yeah. Because there are less teams, so there's less people to spread out. Now, like back then, you can win with 1 star. That's why Dominique Wilkins. What was he supposed to do?
And we also got to remember, free agency wasn't like a big thing back then as well.
Not a big thing. So you had
teams, and that's across all sports. Free agency was not a big player.
Right. So great teams of the 80s. The Knicks, Walt Frazier, Moses Malone. No, Moses Malone was the Sixers.
He was a Sixer. Bernard King.
Bernard King, right? So that's 2. And then it's matter of fact, let's look up. Great teams of the 80s. And I just want to read you the names on these teams, right? NBA. Let me go down. I don't want the auto. No, great teams, not great players. You give me great teams. 1980s. Not how many teams there were. 15. All right, cool. All right, so 15. So they got the 15 greatest NBA teams of the 80s and 90s. I only want to talk about the 80s. I don't want to talk about the 90s right now. So the 89. So the Detroit Pistons. Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer. 4. The Lakers. Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, Norm Nixon. 4. And that's not even going all the way in.
Oh yeah.
All right. Skip that. Nope. That's 90s. That's 90s. Because now they're just telling you about all the Bulls teams, which is another thing that I hate that they do. Pistons. Sixers. Dr. J. Moses Malone. Mo Cheeks. And Bobby Jones. 4. Boston Celtics.
Oh, we already know.
Yo. Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Bill Walton, Larry Bird. And I'm missing somebody. Was it Danny Ainge?
Yes.
You had to have at least 3 stars on your team. At least.
And the Sixers were not
4.
I mean, not the Sixers. The Celtics were not a deep team. If you ever go and look at box scores or look at how they played, they generally only played maybe 6 or 7 guys for a lot of games.
Fam.
They were not a deep team.
I'm just saying. Let's look at the teams that didn't win championships. All right? From the 80s. Now, again, from the 80s. How about this? The Dallas Mavericks, 1980s, had, Mark Aguirre, Brad Davis, Jay Vincent, Derek Harper. Now, to those people now, they don't make a whole lot of people, but those people, they were really good back then. All right, because they're ranked, I think they're number 8. They have them 8 as the 8 in that time. The Denver Nuggets, Alex English, Dan Issel, Kiki Vanderway. Fam, these are teams. These are teams. The Cavaliers, Brad Daugherty, Mark Price, Larry Nance, Ron Harper, Steve Kerr. This is all in the 80s. Portland Trailblazers, Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter. Who was the center? Arvydas Sabonis. Damn. All of these players, all of these teams. The Knicks, Patrick Ewing, John Starks. I'm just saying. I made that point to say back then, because there was a condensed amount of teams, there were much more talent on the teams, which made it much more. It made it much more hard. It made it harder It made the competition level go up, not down. So when people make the competition level, when you add more teams, the competition level naturally goes down.
And you know what, Rez? I actually heard this argument on a group chat with a few fellows I used to work with. They were saying, going back to Bill Russell's era, where they were saying, well, there was only 8 or 10 teams in the league, so it was easier to stay at top. If you were to bring to me a little more points, I may be able to understand that, but you don't stay at the top naturally. You still got to put in that work.
Yeah, you got to.
I mean, you have to. Again, core of a lot of teams stuck together, but even still got to put in that work. Nothing comes naturally.
No, not at all. Not at all. You have to put in that work, and you have to get up and down that court. People say, "Oh well," and I'll put it this way: Chris, how tall are you?
6'2".
You 6'2", right? If I sent you to middle school right now at 6'2", and you were playing against middle school students, you would not average 50 points a game.
No.
You may say, oh, but I'm much better than these kids. Okay, you may be, but guess what? You also have to be. You have to have more conditioning than those kids.
Yeah.
You have to have better. Like you have to. Like there's a lot of things that go into scoring 50 points in a season.
Oh, absolutely.
For 60 games. You may do it once or twice, but every single
consistently.
Game, I think in that season, I don't think Wilt missed a game in that season. And he averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds.
With the extracurricular activity.
With the extracurricular activity. How do you there's no way to discount that. And that's why I say I could throw whoever you think you are, whoever these people think they are, I can throw you at a middle school, put you in a middle school season. I wouldn't even say 60 games. 20 games, you would not average 50 points a game in that season.
No.
Spread that out over 60 games. You know what kind of hard hat you got to bring every single night to average 50 points a game? And then I want to go to this point because I saw somebody in the group was talking about, well, the 100-point game, there's no way that happened. Okay, so let's think about this. And I want to look at this number before I even say it. What I'm going to look up is the top 10 scoring games in NBA history.
Number 2 is off by 19 points.
No, I got you. I got you. So let me see. Here we go. Come down. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All of them will.
8 of the top 10 scoring games in NBA history were by Wilt Chamberlain. He got to 80. He scored 78 and 73. You think if Wilt scored 78 and 73, he couldn't get to 100? So
yeah.
So did they make up the other games too? Like what like help me. Help me.
I mean, these aren't arbitrary numbers they're coming up with.
These are not arbitrary numbers at all. 100-point game. 36 for 63. He shot 63 shots. Hit 28 free throws without a three-pointer. So you're gonna tell me the man can own 8 of the top 10 NBA scoring games in NBA history, but he couldn't get to 100. I'm just saying, the dude's a monster. The dude's an animal. The dude's an animal.
Without the 3-point line.
Without the 3-point line. They changed the width of. They changed the area. They changed the dimensions. And there's another thing. When they start changing rules for you, you might be that dude. They changed the width of the NBA paint because of Wilt. When they're changing the floor because of you, you might be that dude. But Wilt's my number 4. I talked about that. Yeah, man. So I want some more guys to come in. I don't know if y'all gonna come in or you're not. I saw Adam said he was on his way home. And he's gonna try to jump in. But I see somebody just jumped on. Say what up, whoever you are. I don't know who you are, but say what up. I'd love to hear from you. But yeah, man, there's so much that we could really go into. What are your? I guess I'll go ahead and start wrapping it up. What are your final thoughts on this whole idea of the top 5, top 10?
Honestly, the way I see it is, it's a revolving door of a conversation. As long as time keeps going on, as long as players keep coming in, we are consistently going to have this conversation.
Yeah.
This list is going to well, once you start getting to the very top, the list doesn't change as much unless one player just actually comes in wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
But the whole top 100 is going to be forever changing. I think a part of this that makes it such a big discussion is what's actually going on right now in our present time, because without sports, there's really not much of a topic going to discuss. We already had the NFL draft. So, I mean, next is like training camp. Hopefully, if we even have a training camp or a season. So without that, we need something to discuss. And I feel like there's not much going on in news except really one particular polarizing conversation. Topic, excuse me.
Right.
So it's you gotta create news at this point. You gotta invent news at this point. And the only way to invent news is who is the top 100 NBA players, which bothers me because we only do this with the NBA. We don't do this with the NFL. We don't do this with with baseball. We don't do it with hockey. Why? Because I feel like the positions in those sports aren't they're nowhere near as similar to each other.
Right.
The stats are nowhere near as similar to each other. But NBA, everybody scores a point. Everybody rebounds. Everybody assists, block shots. Everybody has the same stats. They just have different positions. You don't get that in any other sport.
Yeah.
How can you argue and say, oh, well, Randy Johnson isn't as good as Ichiro? Well, their primary functions are completely different. Plain and simple. So we only do this with the NBA, which I hate, honestly.
Yo, so hold on, wait. So I see some comments. I can't see the comments over here, but I can see them in the thing. And I don't know if these guys are still in here. I see Ramen. Ramen, you need to click the link, bro. Come on in. So let me see if I can tag him. Ramen. Click in. All right. So he was talking about he was talking about if we bring every player in their prime to start a team, y'all really taking Bill Russell. That's a different discussion. We got to stop. We got to figure out how to have a conversation all the way through. Like that's something that some of us struggle with. I'm realizing is like continuing the one discussion that we're having, and then moving into the next discussion. Top 5 all time. When we're talking about everybody in their prime, we're talking because that's two different discussions. One discussion is everybody in their prime. Who you taking? The other discussion is who has the greatest career of all time, greatest players of all time. A career is a part of it.
And we're always you're right. It's two different discussions. You talk about your prime. You're cherry picking a sample size of the resume.
Bro, there was a 3-year period of Gilbert Arenas' career where you could have a real discussion about Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah.
The only problem is he didn't win any rings.
No, not at all.
You can have a serious James Harden. I just get the best James Harden. Okay, cool. Drop him anywhere. He gonna burn. I mean, if we're gonna cherry pick, but we'd also have to go back and cherry pick for a whole lot of other players, which y'all don't want to do, right? Case in point, I use that I'll use that meme that people like to use that I saw people using about Michael Jordan. That was like MJ in 10 years did more than LeBron did in 16. And I'm like, but MJ didn't play 10 years.
Right. He played, yeah. What did he play? 13, 15 years?
He played
Including the Wizard years?
13 years, including Wizard years, I think.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. It was 13 or 15.
Yeah, because remember, he came in 80, he got drafted 84. And he retired for the second time in 98. So that'd be 14. Right. He missed really 2 years in the middle. So that puts him at 12. So maybe 14, 15. Yeah. He played 15 years. Yeah, 15 years. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. 15 years.
Yeah. So you can't don't do that. Don't do that. If y'all don't do that. All right. I see a few guys, commenting, but I don't see them coming in. Y'all need to come in, man.
Yeah, come on in.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if y'all scared or what. I don't know what it is. But yeah, man, I mean, come on, let's talk about it. I'm interested in hearing your top 5 and why your top 5 is better than mine, because that's what y'all really want to try to do. Why is your top 5 better than mine? Though it's not. But but I'm interested in hearing more. I'm here. Who's that? I'm here. Ramen, click in. Click the link. Click the link and join the discussion. Let's discuss your top 5. But understand, I'm not going to let you dance. This is not Showtime at the Apollo, and I'm not the Sandman. Come on in, man. Join the discussion. I'm trying to give people an opportunity because I can chop these up and I can make some videos that we can use later for some stuff. That's the only reason I stayed on this long, is because I know we can chop it. Who else I want in this discussion? Let's see. Andrew. Who was Adam? Andrew. No, I don't want to hear Andrews. That's funny. Where's Austin? Austin should join this. Jovan. What's Jovan doing in his life? Otis. All these guys. I want all of them. All these guys who be in here, giving all the input. I can't even think of everybody right now. But I think this has been, let's see. I saw Donnie commenting earlier. You can come in, Donnie. Anybody, y'all click the link. Click the link and come on in. Adam, click the link. Let's get your top 5. This is not broadcast publicly, so you won't get, and this is not a controversial topic kind of thing. So you can do this. The Air Force ain't gonna trip on you for that. Come on, join us, man.
All right. I don't know what happened to my video feed just now, but So I don't know what happened to my video feed just now, but
yeah, I don't know. I guess he disappeared. But yeah, we're just doing our top 5, man. We're just running through our top 5. I've been on long enough. I've already went through my top 5 a couple times. But I'll give it again, just for those who are just hopping on. 5 Magic, 4 Wilt, 3 LeBron, 2 MJ, 1 Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's my top 5. I know the question you all want to know is where do I have Kobe ranked, and that's 8th, and that's actually moving him up from 11 where I used to have him. I used to have him at 11, but I moved him up to 8. And this is something I will say. I will say that let me put the link down there for you, bro. And I just put the link back in there for you, just in case you trying to get in. No, Adam, come in. Click the link I just put in the comment section. Oh, it's not letting me post the comment. Post it there. All right, let's put it in a different way. Give me 1 second. Where's that link at? Link is up here. Can I pin this? Oh, pin comment. So I just pinned the comment to the top. To get in, just click the link up top. Click the link up top and come in and talk to me and Chris. Me and Chris sitting there keeping it real. holding the group together. Because Joe Van be disappearing on us.
I know. Where's he at, man? He's been MIA.
I don't know, man. I'll be worried about my bro. You need to come on this stuff.
Well, if you hear from him before I do, man, tell him I said what's up.
For sure, man. For sure. He's actually in the process of moving now. I know that.
Oh, okay, no doubt.
Yeah, come on, get in. I just put the link there. We can get up to 6 people on the screen at one time, so it's not a thing. Don't think that somebody's on so you can't get on. Just click the link. I just posted it. But yeah, sorry. Magic 5. Oh, there's Adam, my guy. What's up, my guy?
Oh, what's good?
You already know, man. You already know.
What's going
How's
on?
life? How's life?
Everything's doing pretty good now. Been doing a lot of home projects.
Okay. Yeah. So they got y'all working from home, or what y'all doing?
No, I just been doing home projects like at the house, like doing flooring and just like
Oh, because y'all just bought a new house.
artwork, like all that.
Yeah,
You got that honey-do list.
Something like that.
all right. Now we cooking. Now we. All right.
Who's on?
We in this thing, huh?
Now we.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
All
Let's try to prop it up somewhere.
All right. Cool. So Adam, I'll start at 5. Explain the 5 to 1.
Man, that's hard to do because like as soon as I come in with the 5, everybody gonna jump on me for it.
No.
No, that's good.
No, we cooking. No, you good. I've already explained my list like 3 times. So
Yeah, because I had Duncan at 5.
he has Duncan at 5.
And I already know that's controversial, but
Duncan at 5 is good. But I have Duncan at 7.
Because he got like 5 chips though. Like for me, you know, like the chips are like the most important thing, which is why I got Bill Russell at 2, and Kareem at 3.
Okay,
but
so you don't have the rest of the Boston Celtics at 2, 3, 4, and 5 then?
No, I mean like at some point you gotta have like talent has to take over.
I agree.
okay.
So like even with like all the chips and everything else, like Larry Bird had
It's not
great
somebody
talent.
that called me.
Yeah.
He
Come
doesn't
down.
have the chips to like really put him in like the top 5 for me.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that longevity. So my 5 is LeBron.
Okay. All right.
Because aside from Russell Westbrook, LeBron is the greatest athlete that we've seen in the NBA.
I can see that.
And with all that, you know, he's got the longevity, he's got the numbers, and it means something to take that Cleveland team to a championship.
Yeah.
Just like it means something for Drew Brees to take that team to the championship.
Yeah.
You know, because you know, if Drew Brees would have taken the Patriots to a championship, we would be having a different conversation. We would say like, well, why didn't he win more Super Bowls?
True.
You know.
Okay.
So
Hey, can y'all hear me? Because I only can hear one person talking.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Adam's the one talking.
Oh no! Oh, nobody's talking.
No, Adam.
I'm working at the same time too, man. So if y'all see me kind of like, you know, eye something else. So that's all, man. I got a little one here too.
Hold on. Wait.
I don't got no beef against like.
Hold on. Let Adam finish. Adam has 5. So Adam had his 5. LeBron at 5, right?
yeah, LeBron at 5, Magic at
Oh,
4.
that's
Hold on,
that's
wait.
what I can't hear.
Robin, who's your 5?
I can't hear Adam.
So he has LeBron at 5. Who's your 5, Ramen?
Like top 5 or?
Who's your number 5? Just number 5.
Oh, I don't really got them in the order, but I guess I'll probably put Magic.
All right. I have Magic number 5 as well. I have Magic number 5. And Chris, who'd you have? You have Tim at 5.
I had Tim at 5, yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
But
Cool.
like I said, just to preface, you know, because I don't know if you other guys heard it. My number 5 is a firm number 5. Now, I kind of had 2 separate groups on my top 5 where 1 and 2 is interchangeable and 3 and 4 are interchangeable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to preface that. So
All right. So four. Who you got, Adam?
4 is Magic.
Okay. All right.
So for the same reasons. I mean, like, you know, the talent
What's
level
up,
is
baby?
unbelievable. But he got 5 chips. I mean, like, and he was the orchestrator of that.
Yeah.
So it's hard to deny that, you know.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Ramen, who you got for?
Hey, hold on, y'all.
All right.
Hey, hold on.
no, go ahead.
All right, who is your 4? Yeah, Russell at 4, right? Chris? You had
I'm
Russell.
sorry?
You had Russell at 4, right?
I believe, I believe my 3 and 4 were either Russell and Magic.
Yeah, you
They were
had
interchangeable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wilt was the only one at an ESPN top 5 that I didn't have in my top 5. But again, that kind of hurt, honestly. So
Yeah.
I mean that was not an easy decision.
But it's supposed to do that, right? So it's supposed to make you. It makes you make a decision.
Right.
Because once I got I was good doing 10, 9, 8, 7. When I got to 6, that's when I started having to cut out parts of my body to make this thing
right.
I had to either leave out Wilt or Russell. And that was hard for me because y'all, those who were in the midline with me a few years ago, y'all know Wilt is my guy. That's the one. That's the hill I will die on until the end of time. But I moved Wilt down after thinking about it for a few years. So my number 4 is Wilt. Russell was my number 6.
You're kind of breaking up to me right now, but
y'all can hear me?
I can hear you. You said
I
Wilt
can hear
was
you.
number
Just kind of
5,
breaking
Russell
up. That's
was
all.
6.
Yeah. So I had Russell at 6 and Wilt at number 4. Just to go back to the Magic point, Magic played 12 years in the league. Only missed the finals 3 times.
Damn.
What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Now we can say he played on stacked teams. We can say whatever, but Magic was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's name was the captain. When Magic came on the team, he became the leader of the team.
Oh yeah.
That to me it speaks leaps and bounds about Magic. But Magic didn't have the career longevity of some of the players that I have above him, and Magic also doesn't have the statistical numbers that a lot of the players have that I have above him. So that's why Magic is my 5. 4, Wilt Chamberlain was a god. Wilt Chamberlain was a god. We were talking earlier about the 50 points a game, right? He averaged 50 points a game for a season, 50 and 25. Y'all may be really good at basketball, right? If I put you on a court right now with a group of middle school students and ran a 20-game season, you would not average 50 points and 25 rebounds a game. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
In 48 minutes? In 48 minutes?
48 minutes, 60 games.
I would beat the shit out of
You would not. No, you would not. You would not. And I'll tell you why. Because you would take games off. You would not, you're like, oh, I'm so much better than these kids. I don't got to do but so much. Right? Wilt was a god in an era. He had 60 games a season. There was 8 teams. When you add teams, when you add teams, did that increase or decrease the competition level?
You don't have to make the competition.
Can you repeat that?
With me.
When you add, I know Adam. I know Adam. Me and you've had this talk. When you add teams to the league, do you increase or decrease the talent pool?
Well, it really depends because
it doesn't.
It does.
Because let's just say back in that day, basketball wasn't as popular, so not all the best athletes were into basketball. But now,
you only had to fill 8 teams.
Huh?
You only had to fill 8 teams.
Yes, but if it's 8 teams, a dude who's part-time warehouse workers and just random ass 6'3",
So Google, I want you to go back and Google the amount of players who are also plumbers while they were in the NBA during Wilt Chamberlain's career.
Oh, I want to point out too. Remember, players didn't make that much back in the days. Even Jackie Robinson had to get a second job once the baseball season was over. So to say that they were plumbers, to say they were plumbers or whatnot, it's kind of unfair to the topic.
So
Like,
put
they were-
it like this: if you take every player in NBA history, those 60s, 50s guys wouldn't even make the league. They wouldn't even make the G League.
You're making a different argument. That's a different argument.
No, the argument is the talent. You're saying the talent pool, correct?
No. I'm not talking. No, I'm talking about the talent of the teams, not the individual players. The teams. If I tell you, take our league right now, take the NBA right now, cut out 24 of the teams.
Okay.
Is the league easier or harder?
It's easier. I got a question for you. Do coaches have to prep for each individual team and each individual player and
Yes.
each individual film?
Yes.
So if I have to play the Raptors only 4 times throughout the
No.
league, so I have to
You still
prepare
have a
for each
60.
time?
You still have a 60-game season.
Hold on. So if it's only 18, I know this team. I play them 10 times a year. I know this team. It's less prep work. I know this team in and out because I played them so many times a year. But if I got to prepare for 30 different teams, that's so much you got to prepare and got to know.
That's not true at all. That's not true at all. And I'm going to tell you why. Think about this. How many stars were on the star NBA teams in the 80s?
In the 80s?
In the 80s. There were at
Maybe
least
3.
there were at least 3 to 4 stars on every good team in the 80s. On every good team, not even every great team. Every good team had at least 3 to 4 really good players.
Okay.
So you're talking about 3 to 4 primary weapons that you got to worry about.
In the NBA now, if you have 2, you're lucky.
You said now?
Now, if you have 2, you're lucky. Should I go further?
My team only got 1.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying.
Who are the 2 really good players on the Knicks?
Julius Randle.
He's really good?
I mean, if you put him, you look
Where
at
do
his
you rank
coverage.
Julius Randle?
Look.
Where do you rank
Julius
Julius
Randle and his 19 rebounds in the 80s, y'all be calling him some Hall of Famer.
No, because Bernard King was averaging 30-something points a game in the 80s.
And was he not an all NBA player?
Yes.
So let's take
He was averaging 19 and 12.
James Worthy in the 80s. What was he putting up? Like 17 points?
No.
And he's some type of greatest.
No,
James
he
Worthy?
wasn't.
What's his career average?
I got you.
16, 17 points career average for James Worthy. Maybe career high. Season high might be at 21 point per game. 20.
Somebody else is trying to get in. Who's this person trying to get in right here? Oh, the AD. Who that? Oh, that's Adam. All right, I'm Adam. Okay, we cooking now. Chris, I may have to start over, bro. All right. So his career average, yes, is 17.6. But you mentioned the 80s. So let's go to the 80s and look what he was dropping a game. As the third option on the team.
Not third scoring option.
He was the third option.
You have to check how many shots per game they took, because you could be the third star, but not the third scoring option.
All right. So he averaged in 86, he averaged 20 points a game.
That's his
As the
highest?
third option.
Is that his highest?
No, his highest was 21.4.
Good shit.
And he's some type of all Hall of Famer legend, right?
He was the third best player on his team. He was the third option on his team. He played with Magic and Kareem.
So, but I'm saying you take a player
I can't hear
you take a player like Julius Randle. He
Well,
puts
can y'all
up
hear me?
15 shots per game.
I hear you,
James
baby. Hold on one second. Right
Yo,
here.
The only
everybody
person
thumbs
I
up
can't
if
hear
you
is
can hear
Adam.
me.
I can hear you.
Oh shit, they can hear me. I can't. Hold on, I'm
I
gonna
can
leave.
hear-
Come back.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
It
he
was
going
two
out.
Adams. It was two Adams here. My bad.
Yeah. That's LA Adam.
I can't hear the Falcon Adam.
No,
I ain't saying nothing.
no, he ain't saying that right now.
Hey,
Yeah, what up? Chris, you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Hey, Adam, can you do a mic check for me?
Hey.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I can't hear him at all.
Huh. I can hear him. I'll relate him with what you said. Oh, I got you. All right. So let's just. I don't want to get too caught up there. Let's stay where we were at. So
Okay.
I had 5 Magic. I had 4 Wilt. We talked about that. The competition thing, y'all got that all wrong, but I'll just leave that there. 3. I have LeBron. What do y'all like?
Huh?
I have LeBron number 3.
I have LeBron number 3 also.
All right. Adam.
I got Russell.
Russell. All right. And Chris.
And y'all know I'm a Kobe fan, but I come to as it went on, I'll probably put Kobe at 4. I'll put LeBron at 3, and then Kareem and MJ. I'm gonna say MJ number 1 just because that's what it's supposed to be, but I think Kareem should be the number 1.
We'll get there. I got you. Adam, can you hear us? Adam.
Hey, thumbs up if you can hear us.
Rams, Adam. Thumbs up if you can hear us. All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Cool. So 3. I want to stop here at 3 with LeBron.
I had to make a profile.
I want to stop here at 3 with LeBron, and I want to explain my 3 for LeBron. All right.
So what's the conversation, fellas?
Right. We're talking about top 5 players of all time. Still, you can hear us.
Can they hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is you the only one that can hear me?
All of us can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay. What's the conversation? What I missed so far? They say 2 hours. What I missed so far?
A lot. A lot. But tell him. Give me 1 second. I'm explaining LeBron real quick. Somebody tell him because he can't hear me.
Who can? Adam can't hear you?
Adam can't hear me.
No, I can't hear
Okay.
Red.
He said give him 1 second. He's gonna explain why he has LeBron at 3.
Okay.
All right. So
I can't even hear him though.
I don't know why you can't hear me. Couldn't hear me. Maybe you need to go out and go back in one more time. Tell him to go out and come back in one more time.
Hey, he said go out and come back in one more time.
All right.
Hey, y'all like this little phone stand?
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Oh, that's dope, man.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's
Yeah,
just
That's dope. Yeah, I like that.
So LeBron.
A friend of mine had one where you could stand it up like on a table, man. And he took it with him when he left.
My
So I
God.
got to stand you up on the ashtray.
Yeah. Come back in.
But I'm gonna leave and come
I
back.
try to figure out what rum I'm drinking over there, man.
That's a story.
We got that Zinfandel or something?
Nah, it's Weller's 107 Antique.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. It's my birthday, so I had to bring.
Oh, happy birthday, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Happy
That's
birthday,
why
man.
I was like, I'm gonna talk to my wife. I'm gonna come talk to y'all, but I'm gonna go downstairs a little bit.
Oh yeah. We ain't be here much longer. But so 3, and I said this a couple times. I want to make sure I say this. It's very important. 1, once you're talking 3, 2, 1. You really got to start splitting hairs, right? You really got to start going into what makes a truly great player the greatest of the great players. All right.
And one question for you.
Yeah.
So when you measure your great players, are you just going by greatness, or are you going by actual better?
I'm so glad you're asking that question.
To me, it's different between great and better.
Oh no. So 1, I'm talking. So I have an equation, right? I have an equation. Number 1 for me is numbers. You don't get in this discussion without numbers.
Yeah.
I can't bring you. That's why I go back to Adam's point earlier. Yes, there are plenty of players with a whole bunch of rings. All of them don't have the numbers to get into this discussion. So I don't even consider rings.
You go by record numbers or like career average numbers?
Statistical categories across the board. I throw them all in there. If it's a number, I throw it in there. Right? And I'll talk about those numbers in a second. 2, impact. Impact on the game. Right?
Okay.
Impact on the game. When I add you to a team, what happens to that team? When I take you away from that team, what happens to that team? That matters. And impact overall. Can I tell the story of basketball without mentioning your name? Or how far will I get before I have to say your name?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really understand that one too much because whenever you tell the story of basketball, it's like you got to mention the players.
Not all of them.
I guess maybe like you won't rank
Not all of them.
somebody. Like you could. Okay, yeah.
You can
So this is kind of the reason why I have Russell at number 3.
Right. Yes.
Because if you just looked at numbers alone, Elgin Baylor would not get in my top 20. But he does get in my top 20 because the man was in the Army half his career.
Yeah.
You know, the guy was like facing the oppression. And so like for me, like that's why Russell is at my number 3 is because he, in a lot of ways, he is the Jackie Robinson of basketball.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. So back. So I'm sorry, I was telling y'all my equation. So number 1, numbers, statistics matter over the course of the career. I'm not cherry picking a couple years that I thought you did really well and then leaving everything else out. I'm picking everything in totality. 2, impact on the game. 3, accolades, MVPs, All NBA, All Defensive Team, All-Star Team, accolades. 4, the eye test. What do my eyes tell me when I look at you play ball? And then my last indicator, which I use to separate the greats from the very, 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 very greats, when I'm doing with the splitting hairs, then I throw rings in.
Wait, right? So are you not going to put in errors?
No.
Like the error someone plays in?
No.
So I got a question for you. Like, all right, you have the world in the 1920s. You have the world's most fastest car that was able to go 100 miles per hour. It breaks every record. It beats everything. Yep. And then now you fast forward to now, and it's like that old car broke all those records compared to those other cars. But that 100 is not touching this 300 miles per hour car. Y'all not, I feel like you have.
But that,
you have
but no, but what you're missing
of the game and of the human.
No. But what you're missing is you have a objective number that nobody can doubt. One car goes 100 miles per hour. The other car goes 300 miles per hour. Based on my argument, there's no way that I would tell you that car from the 1920s is better than the car from now. Based on what you just said.
Yeah.
That's my whole point. The only thing.
All right, now let me show you how it relates. So back in the 50s and 60s, you had one league that was playing an 18 league full of basketball players who play the game totally different and on that skill that's now, versus a 30 team league where you have to be the very best of the best in order to make it.
You have to be the very best of the best to make it an 18 league. You think it was easy to make it to an 18 league?
What a lot of people never bring up is the Celtics of that time had most of the league's all-stars, all NBA players had most of the team's best players on one team.
That's not true.
Check it. You can check it.
No, that's what you just said.
Like every person that was on that Celtics team, start 1 through 5 was like all-star. All-star, all NBA. So it's like, and then it's like the stuff you fought. Y'all try to you fought LeBron for. He had to go against the Warriors against four stars versus him and Kevin Love that last final. And not match. And that LeBron was the modern day Wilt. Wilt back then Wilt he didn't have the stack team. Like if you switch Wilt and Bill Russell, it's not even a conversation anymore. Bill Russell wasn't out here putting 50 points per game.
No, he wasn't.
Wilt is head and shoulders better than Bill Russell.
That's why I have Wilt. That's why I have Wilt at 4 and Bill Russell at 6.
So
Bill Russell isn't in your top 5.
No, Bill Russell.
Celtics on that team though.
Huh?
The rest of the Celtics on that Bill Russell team, the rest of those Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Where do you rank them?
They're not on my list. Where they are on your list?
I don't rank Bill Russell on my list. I don't think Bill Russell. Trust me.
So then,
today's game.
But
he makes the league.
But that's the thing. But then you can't tell me. But then you can't tell me that rings matter.
I'm not saying they matter.
Oh, cool. So rings don't matter. Cool. So when you talk about
I'm not saying they don't matter.
You led your team to multiple rings.
I'm not saying they don't matter at all, but their rings don't matter.
Their rings don't matter.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That if he could do it in a 30-team league, a 30-team league, then I appreciate him.
It was
But
just
what happens if it was two teams and one team just kept winning every year? You just still count it?
2 teams is not a league.
8 teams is barely a league.
That's the thing. You keep saying what if? I'm talking about what actually happened. I haven't thrown a what if in a conversation yet. We're talking
and that's
about
why
what
I asked you, do you
actually
take
happened.
better? Are you taking better? Do you think he's an actual better player than Shaq? Is Bill Russell better than Shaq at basketball? No.
Bill Russell, ask Shaq that question. That's what I would tell you. Ask Shaq that question.
Do you think Shaq will pay homage to one of the greats of the founders of the league?
Shaq would tell you that he learned everything he knows by watching Bill Russell and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I watched Bill Russell today. His game looks nothing like Shaq. Let's pull up the footage. There was no moves, no skill, no nothing. He was just dunking over 6-foot white dudes.
No, you're talking offensively. I'm talking total game. I'm talking on defense. Defensive principles taught by Bill Russell. The guy won 8 straight championships. He won 11 total as a player, and then 13, including his coaching years.
That's crazy.
I think whenever you're doing greatest, you gotta separate it by era. I think that's the best way. Like you got the greatest of this era, greatest of this era, greatest of this era, because it's a totally different game now. Like it's no longer the same stuff.
They still put a ball in the hoop.
You can compare the eras. It's just like Bill Russell. He was great for his time. I get what Ross saying. You know what I'm saying, but he's still an all-time great. He's just not in my top 5.
I can respect that. I'm not saying that you have to
top 10 because you got to acknowledge the greatness. Like 8 straight championships, that's crazy. 11 total as a player, that's crazy. So he's top 10, but like to Rod's point, it's like, how do you say he to me he not a better basketball player than Shaq? You know what I'm saying? Or Kareem or Bill.
So hold on, wait. So you're talking a better basketball career over the course of his career, or over the course of his?
He had a greater career.
Yeah.
That's for great. I think Mike made a good point yesterday. It's like, or he might have said it earlier today, but it's like sometimes great and best aren't always one and the same. You know what I'm saying?
They're not.
Sometimes
they're not.
Exactly.
No, and that's why when you're talking about the great, and that's why I make a very important distinction that I'm not cherry picking the parts of people's career that I like. Because I could easily say, oh, when Gilbert Arenas had this one segment of his life, his career, well, you killing it. But he didn't have a total career that says you belong on this wall.
Right.
You don't. He doesn't
That's
belong
why
on
I
this
got
wall.
Bill in my top 10 because you can't deny him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So Shaq, if you tell me I get Shaq from 1996 through 2003, and that's the only thing I get to consider,
He the greatest player ever.
Right. But we have to factor in the fact that Shaq continued to play basketball. He continued to play basketball, and those years also matter. You talk about when you talk about points per game, you talk about minutes per game, you talk about rebounds per game. Those stats matter. We don't get to pick the stuff that we apply.
Yeah.
So,
and one question: Do you think numbers could change by era?
No.
So
what do you mean?
You think numbers can't change? So you don't think like in the 70s when everybody was averaging 20 rebounds, you think that those people averaging the 20 rebounds at 6'3" will do it the same as today's game?
20 rebounds in the 70s?
Huh?
You think everybody was averaging 20 rebounds in the 70s?
I do think the rebounds per game were higher back in that era, like league wide.
You have to take everything.
A lot of stuff was higher. Like the numbers
honestly.
And then you got to remember the 3-point. And I say the game changed because back in their day they didn't have a 3-point line, a 3-pointer. Then a lot of times you didn't even count the blocks and steals. So you have games where Wilt possibly had a 5-time triple quintuple double.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
So that's what I'm saying. To me, it's hard to compare if you don't split it up into eras, because if you just go errors don't matter and just greatest, then it's probably like Wilt, because who else is touching a 50-point per game season?
So let's talk about these numbers again.
Nigga average.
Wilt Chamberlain averaged 27, 25, 27, 26, 25, 24, 24, 23.
All right, boy.
The only person in the top 10 in rebounds per game for a season, Bill Russell.
To get over 10?
No, highest rebounding per game averages for a season.
And what?
The time.
Guess who's the first modern player that shows up?
Who?
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman.
Then you have Elvin Hayes, who played in the 70s.
Is Bill Russell the greatest rebounder of all time? Or is Dennis Rodman the greatest rebounder
Dennis
of all time?
Rodman.
According to this, Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest rebounder of all time.
I mean, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If you go by
That's why I posed the question.
No context, just straight facts, it's Wilt.
No, yeah, but no. The
On the
context,
surface, it looked like Wilt, or you know what I'm
it's
saying?
But this is the problem. This is the problem that I have, right? So many times these discussions are had without actually looking at the numbers. So we're adding context without actually even having the numbers. How do we do that? Context is the coloring inside of the line, but you need the lines. You have to have the lines. You can't just say we're going to color on a blank paper. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the number. That's why my number one thing that I always consider before I even start the discussion is what do the numbers tell me. After I get to the numbers, now I'm going into the other stuff. Now I'm talking about
who did they play.
I'm talking who did they play. I'm talking about all accolades and all those things. But first, what do your numbers look like?
And one question: Does that only apply to basketball, or does it apply to football too?
Football.
Do you think that Tom Brady is the greatest then? Because number-wise, statistically, Peyton Manning was putting up better number-wise seasons.
That's another discussion.
The totality of accolades.
And then Joe Montana never was putting up crazy numbers, but he was always great winner. So how is and that's why even in football the game has changed so much to where the numbers could be mixed up.
But I see rings as a team stat. I don't see rings as an individual stat.
It still counts though.
It counts, but I have it last on my list. That's what I'm telling you. That's how I make sure that I still factor it in. And so I guess let me get to what I was saying with LeBron.
So is Peyton the greatest?
Hold on, that's another discussion. Let's stay on point. Let's rein it. We're good. All right. So LeBron's number 3, right? We know LeBron's stats. I don't want to tell y'all LeBron's stats. I'm going to tell you why LeBron can't get higher than 3 for me. Though Adam Barrett will tell you, I am a LeBron fan, right? But I will tell you why LeBron will never be higher than 3 to me. And LeBron can win 2-3 more championships, and he will never get higher than 3 to me.
What?
He won't. He can't. And I'll tell you why. First, I'll tell you why he's at 3. Highest. He will retire as with the highest score, with the most points in NBA history, right? He will retire with the most first team All NBA and All NBA appearances. He went to 9 NBA finals. That's not something to sneeze at. I actually see that as a good thing as opposed to what people think is a bad thing. It's really hard to go to the finals 9 times. If they continue this season, I think he goes a 10th time. All right, but just consider.
Jerry West argument.
Yeah, so 9 times. That getting there is really hard. Winning 3. Now he's gonna be. He already has the highest most points per game, most points in the playoffs, most points per game in the playoffs average, and most points in playoff NBA history. His legacy there is cemented. That's not going to change. Why can't he get higher? LeBron James can never get higher because of 2011.
God damn, that's cold. That's cold as a bitch.
2011 is why LeBron James can never get higher. That series, LeBron James was supposed to be LeBron James. That's the problem. That's the knock. Like, you can't be LeBron James and then not be LeBron James.
Right.
If LeBron plays like we've seen LeBron play in any other finals or any other playoff series we've ever seen LeBron play in, they win that series.
So I got a question for you. So take the career out of it and just go by talent.
No, that's a different discussion. That's a different discussion.
Yeah, but
I'm saying. So I'm asking the question for.
But talent's subjective, though, man.
Yeah,
look at that.
Because realistically, if you put LeBron in the 50s, what he gonna do? If you put him in the 60s, 70s, 80s,
he's killing it any era.
Any era. His career will be totally different, correct?
And that's a different discussion.
Yeah, because when people say that, when you say put a player in this era and put him in another era, are we talking about? Are you taking literally a physique, a 2015 or whatever 2020 physique, training regimen, nutritionist, all that stuff, and put him in the 60s? Or are you going to give him literally the whole 60s experience?
If we posing the question,
grew up in the 60s.
Because that's a whole different ball game.
A whole other thing.
Question. It's only fair if you really asking the question, then you have to give LeBron who he is today and put him back then because that's who he is. You know what I'm saying? So if that's the question, if that's really the question, then.
But then that's not fair though, because now you're penalizing guys for not having that opportunity that LeBron had.
Right. Like I said, they were necessary to.
And then that goes back to my first suggestion. It should be broken down in errors.
But I think there's a discussion to be had around that. But again, that's a different discussion.
Right.
You can have a discussion about who's the greatest in certain areas, but that's not what we're talking about.
I disagree with the 2011 being the where he can't go past 3. I disagree with that. I just want to say
that. No. Because think about this, right? LeBron James has never lost a first round playoff series ever. He's never ever in his career lost a first round playoff series. I think he's missed the playoffs 3 times in his NBA career. In one of those years, he was hurt most of the year. Right? You got to factor that in. Now, you have to factor all those things in. And again, we're talking 3, 2, and 1 for me.
I mean, he didn't play the 86 Celtics neither.
No, he didn't play the 86 Celtics at all. But he had to play against Boston. He had to play against Boston with the 3-headed monster. He had to play against Detroit. Those teams that he was playing against, those weren't easy teams. He had to play against Chicago. He had to play against Chicago with Derrick Rose when he was the MVP.
To me, he's as high as he is on my list. That Pistons team.
Because of what?
What he did against that Pistons team.
That Pistons team, that Pistons team. But
I don't give him too much credit for the Pistons team because I feel like they were past their championship window.
No.
They no longer have Ben Wallace. They no longer
that was the year after they won.
No, Ben Wallace was there.
Yeah. You talking about the year after they won?
He wasn't.
When they got swept by the Spurs.
He wasn't there.
By the Spurs.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace was there that year.
Pull it up. 2007.
The year that LeBron scored.
Oh, he might not. Yeah, hold on. Because he
beat the Lakers.
They won 04.
They won in the Pistons won in 2004 and 2007. They no longer had Ben Wallace, and they no longer was the same team.
Right. They didn't have Ben Wallace. He beat them a couple of years later.
And Ben Wallace is arguably probably the reason why they won, honestly, because how he was able to kind of contain Shaq.
Karl Malone contained Shaq.
I mean, Karl Malone, and that was another thing. And that's why it's I even take Karl Malone over Tim Duncan. I think the reason why people give Tim Duncan the nod over him because of the 5 rings. But if you give 5 rings to Karl Malone, then people will say Karl Malone.
Yeah.
Get him, Chris.
You can give Karl Malone 3 rings for real.
Yeah. Give Karl Malone 3 rings. It's the reason Karl Malone has 0, so it puts him below Tim Duncan.
I've already explained the way I have to call Duncan at my number 5.
No, but that changes. Again. Y'all are doing what if.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about it.
Because when we talk about best players, we talk about better. You don't talk about career achievement. We're talking about
that's where great come in. Great come in where you're talking about what they did, like legacy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Better
told
is
you,
more
Karl
about
Malone had a
like
chance
Chris
to win
said,
a
it's
championship
subjective.
and missed
It's
free throws.
talent is subjective. You know what I'm saying, bro?
I'm just saying, like that's. I'm telling you what I consider when we're talking greatest player of all time. Best is a different discussion. Greatest player of all time.
It's totality.
If we're just talking, like go out and get it, I'm taking Kevin Durant over a whole lot of the guys y'all got.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So again, different discussions. What we're talking right now, the totality of a career.
Yeah, we're talking about greatness of the career.
Right. So
What they did as a player.
all time. So when we talk about Jordan, we're talking about his career.
If we're going by pure greatness of career, it's either Will or Kareem.
To me, so I tell y'all why LeBron doesn't go higher than 3 to me. 2, Michael Jordan.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan is 2.
Yeah, 2.
And LeBron 3.
Yeah.
So who number 1?
I got you. So we know Jordan. Jordan, right?
You put Will at 4?
Will's 4. Yeah, I got Will at 4.
And who 5? Kobe.
Kareem.
Magic.
Gotta be Kareem.
Magic at 5. Magic at 5.
Oh, all right, so Kareem number 1.
Michael Jordan at 2. 6 rings. All right, I'm gonna read through. I did it earlier. I'm gonna do it again. You know that matters. The statistical career, Michael Jordan, accolades and all that. So 30.1 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 5.3 assists. Right now, we happen to know that the Wizards years brought his scoring average down, right? Because I think when he was with the Wizards, he ended up averaging like 24, 25 points a game.
That was the first year. The second year was 20 points.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
First year. It wasn't very.
Those brought his average down, right? 6-time world champion, 5-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, 6-time Final MVP, 10-time scoring champion, Defensive Player of the Year. One of the only players to ever win Defensive Player of the Year and MVP at the same time. I think he's the only player to do it. Yeah. And then 9-time All-Defensive Team. That's over a 15-year career.
When you hear it, it sounds like that nigga should be number 1 for real.
Yeah, it sounds like it, don't it? It sounds like you want a winning award in college, because now we're talking top 2 for me. So I have to consider everything. Now I'm really digging deep.
Well, you consider college?
That's basketball, right?
Well, Hall of Fame.
I thought we was talking about NBA.
I'm talking.
We gonna consider high school too?
I'm talking tip top. I'm talking greatest of all time.
Yeah, he giving you his definition of greatness. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta look at it, because if you got 2 guys.
Pull up Pop Warner numbers now.
No. And if you can find those, please do.
No, Ra, hear me out. When you talk about top 2 guys like that, right? Let's just say they have very similar careers or similar accolades. What do you got to do? You got to start scraping the bottom of the barrel to figure out what is different between the 2.
We're here. I'm at my top 2 of all time.
Yeah.
Does that include looking at ability, like eye test, the subjectiveness? Is that where subjectiveness come in at?
Yeah, I can't read the notebook, man.
Well, I'm not saying ability is subjective, but why he's bringing up like college, because that's something tangible you can hold on to.
That's how we separate. When you got players here, when you have 6 rings, right? You have 6 rings. Jordan has 6 rings. Kareem has 6 rings. Michael Jordan and Kareem were right here in scoring. Kareem had more rebounds. Jordan had more assists. So we're comparing here. How do I separate? I got to dig deeper. So now I say Jordan had.
I'll be back in a second, man.
Jordan had a Wooden Award in college, and you want a NCAA championship in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to give you Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
He did everything you just named plus.
Yeah. We know about Kareem for his
He did everything that Jordan did. So listen, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. 6-time NBA champion, just like Jordan. 6-time most valuable player, one more than Jordan.
With 2 different teams.
How many Finals MVP?
He has 2 Finals MVPs, so Jordan has more of that than him.
Damn, I thought he had more than that. Magic was
15 times first or second All NBA. 15 times.
That's crazy.
15 times. Michael Jordan was 9. All right.
Do you got on there? Where you reading from? Do you got the exact years that he played? Like, what year did he start and retire?
Kareem played 20. Michael played 15.
Yes, Kareem played 19 years.
What's the year?
It was 71. Hold on, 70 to 80, 70 to 89. 70 to 89.
He played.
Kareem won his first. He won his first MVP in 1971. All right.
When did he enter the league?
Wait. He won his first Finals MVP in 1971. He won his second Finals MVP in 1985, 14 years later.
Damn.
Now, he's also two-time scoring champion. We know rookie of the year and all that stuff. I'm also going to give you this. In college, because we talked about Jordan, Kareem won championships every year he played in college.
Every year?
Every year he played in college.
How many years he played?
3.
Damn.
Kareem with 2 years where his team lost 1 game in college.
God damn.
And every year he played in high school, they won championships then too.
Wait, so do you take in media awards too? Because the MVP is a media award also.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
didn't Michael Jordan win the media award for best college player of all time?
No, he didn't win the media award. He won the fan award.
Kareem, Kareem the best college.
And
There's no way that should have happened.
Yeah,
There's no way that should happen. But do you see my point now about Kareem? Kareem is that dude. Kareem is that guy. But we have the discussion about these guys, and we act like Kareem doesn't exist.
People tend to give skilled players a nod over big men, though.
That's nuts.
When you
Kareem,
now that you say it like that, though, Kareem should be higher in my top 5. Like, he's at least higher than Magic. Like, I used to put Magic above. When you say, because I known a lot of what you were just saying, and I ain't never put it into perspective like that. You know what I'm saying?
But that's all I ever tell people. That's all I'm saying. Is like, that's all I ever tell people.
But where I disagree with it is the subjectiveness, because I think to me, we can all see who can play basketball better, and that's if it's close like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's to me where I would go.
If you count college, then it's gonna hurt people like LeBron and Kobe.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
But no, I'm not. But again, I haven't even considered those guys. I haven't even considered that until I got to my top.
Yeah, but I'm saying like even for their ranking, like because then you have to put in like Larry Bird. I don't know what he did in college, but
he won. He's seen Magic.
He took Indiana State to the finals.
He played Magic, I think, didn't it?
He played
Michigan
Magic.
State.
Did he win?
He took Indiana.
Yeah, they beat Magic, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Magic beat him.
Oh, the Magic beat them.
Magic won?
Yeah.
Okay.
Indiana State. He took Indiana State to the finals. And if we were throwing in college for the other guy, Bill Russell took
not Indiana.
No, Indiana State.
Yeah, Indiana State. The blue and white team.
The blue and white team.
Bill Russell took a team San Francisco, the University of San Francisco, to the NCAA championship college. Yeah, San Francisco. So
hey, Riz, I got to bounce, man.
All right, bro. We're about to wrap up. I see you, man. But that's all I'm saying is we gotta stop disrespecting. Like, it's one thing to say the eye test, right? But the eye test becomes a problem here. People want to consider the eye test and then say, I didn't see these players, so I can't consider them.
Okay.
Nah, you can look at Kareem. You can say Kareem, Magic.
Long term,
based off of what. Go ahead.
Long term, that becomes a problem. Do you know why? Because right now, each of us making our list, nobody's going to have Michael Jordan outside of our top 3. That's just not going to happen, at all. Like top 2 probably, right? Nobody's going to do that. Kobe Bryant is in my top 10. Kobe Bryant for me is at 8 in my top 10. And
that's where most people have him at.
He's gonna be there. He's gonna be there, right? But the problem is this: if we only go by the eye test and the players that we've seen in 20 years, the kids that didn't watch Kobe Bryant play
are gonna do the same thing.
They're gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna hate it.
Yeah, but you can't deny it.
Players that are really, really good players.
It wasn't a lot of. It wasn't. We didn't see Wilt Chamberlain score 100. That was my point earlier. We can go back and look at the whole game of Kobe score 81 points
if you want to.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like they can. Kids 20 years later can say, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I didn't see it, but you can go pull it up. Like they didn't have that for Wilt. That's my point with Wilt.
You can pull up YouTube clips of Wilt right now.
And Bill Russell.
I pulled up a YouTube clip of Bill Russell, and it's like, come on, bro. Like that is not no top 4 best.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's like what we can see is that they didn't play nobody for real.
Defensively, you can see how he's a top 10.
No, not even that, because it's easier to play defense on trash people. Like I promise you.
Even I feel you. I feel what you're saying to a point.
24-hour fitness. He's going to look like a defensive stalwart. He's going to break the whole gym.
Bro really could touch the backboard though halfway through the backboard standing up straight. You know what I'm saying? So you can't deny him. Like Wilt, he really could. It's really a picture of him standing.
Wilt, I give Wilt a pass because his measurements are universal. You can take his
That's
strength,
what I was making the point.
His vert, his speed, and universally compare it to anybody of all time.
Right. But Bill Russell,
to me, him and LeBron is the two
most athletic,
two best, in their skill too. So they're the two of the best players.
Who? She's at Wilt and LeBron?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wilt and LeBron. But the problem with Wilt and LeBron also is, of all the people we named in our top 10, right? The top 5, Wilt and LeBron are the only 2 that have losing records in the finals.
And I think it's like that because when you
but that's a team. I thought it was a team thing.
When you get that type of generational guy, people want to play against him. So you got people building teams to stop Wilt, to stop LeBron because
I agree. I agree.
To this day.
Like if you put LeBron on the Warriors team and Kevin Durant on Cavs, like who wins? Like the Warriors.
It wouldn't even be close. That 51 point he scored game 1 wouldn't even have mattered. Like,
but see, I think I agree there. I agree there. But the problem is that's not the discussion that we're having.
Yeah, that's a what if.
What do you rank best players? Does Kareem ranking your best player also?
I would need to think about that.
Yeah, I'd be putting them one in the same for real. Although it differs when you're talking about some players, like comparing some players. At the end of the day, greatest and best go at the end of the day to me the one the same. Because I see it as LeBron, you know what I'm saying? And I respect the opinions though.
Yeah.
I respect that though, because that made me look at it differently. You know what
I'm saying? and that's what these discussions are supposed to do. And the problem is that and I don't want to bash
Kareem definitely higher than Magic now. He's definitely higher than Magic.
Like the problem is, right? That's what is happening now as far as us sharing our thoughts and growing our understanding of how each other think and how we process this. What happens in the group a lot of times that makes me stay back a lot of times is as opposed to becoming us sharing information and becoming more knowledgeable about each other's opinions and the things that we consider when we're talking about best or greatest or whatever, it becomes you disagree, so you're stupid. And that's nobody's gonna learn from that because now you jump in your defensive back. You see what I'm saying? I can't I want to do this again.
To an extent, your opinion can make you stupid though. Like if I sit up here to say DeMar DeRozan,
you ain't even got to say no more. Like you ain't even have to say no more, bro.
Like that's stupid.
Yeah.
I think your opinion. I think if your opinion is uninformed, like case in point, I'll go back to the whole thing when we were talking earlier about people saying because the running thread now is how can you have a top 5 without Kobe in it? Right?
How? I really like that's a real question.
But there's no statistical argument to put Kobe in the top 5.
How?
Why not?
We already had it. I thought we already had this conversation.
No, we didn't. All right, go for it. Make a statistical argument, and I'm gonna show you that you're wrong.
Scoring.
Right, third in scoring, 31st in assists. I thought we had this conversation. We had this conversation earlier.
Third in scoring.
Doesn't he have the
Third in
most
scoring,
assists
31st in
for a
assists.
shooting guard?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
I said, Kobe has the most assists for a shooting guard, right?
That's for a shooting guard.
He got most assists for a shooting guard. He top
31. But there are 31 players who are better than him.
Huh?
Point
There are
guards
30
mainly
players,
though. Point
but they're
guards mainly.
Greater, not better, because
Point guards, no, they
better than
pass the ball more because that's what their position required of them.
Are y'all talking total numbers? Or are y'all talking
and then the thing with people, this kind of disrespect Kobe is like him. He wasn't like coming in the league as the best. His peak is better than most people you named. Like peak prime Kobe Bryant, and that's why I go by best. Like when the best is the peak, the best you have ever been. That's
Kobe Bryant not better than Kevin Durant.
Yes, he is.
Yes, it is.
No, he's not.
Kevin Durant has never made no All NBA defenses, none. Not even a second.
He might be a better shooter. That's the only thing he does better than Kobe Bryant is shoot the ball.
He's a better scorer.
Shooter. He never scored 81. He never scored.
He's not a better scorer.
He never scored 81.
Yeah, but 81's that's a fluke night.
Okay,
I mean, that doesn't happen all the time.
Hold on, how many times does Kevin
Kobe
Durant
made it
score
happen.
60?
Kobe made that shit happen, man.
How many times does KD score 60? I think only once.
Okay, so that's like saying
Kobe scored 60 on his way out the door.
Okay, but that
hold on, whoa.
That's like saying that's like saying LeBron is not a good scorer just because he never dropped that many points in one game. But here's LeBron arguably going to have the most points of all time. You can't
consistency.
Hold on. Klay Thompson got 60 points in 3 quarters and came out the game.
Right.
Is he a better?
But Kevin Durant has had these opportunities.
Didn't Kobe do that against the
Klay
Mavs?
Thompson doesn't always have
against the Mavericks. Kobe did
in 3 quarters.
Yeah, in 3 quarters against the Mavericks.
Bro, he scored 81, so I know he scored 60 in 3 quarters.
Come on, man.
He
Kobe,
scored
I'm talking
81.
about you, boy. My dog name is Kobe, so if I keep talking about Kobe, then he think I'm talking about him.
Hey, your stand is showing.
Hey, man, I can show some more, man.
You got it.
Hey, it was supposed to be a goal for me to get that jersey signed, bro, but it can't happen no more.
And I want to take the time to say this. RIP to Kobe Bryant. Real talk. I mean,
Oh yeah, man.
like all respect. And I want to make sure I say this too. Right now, we are literally splitting hairs between what makes
The greatest player.
like me saying Kobe Bryant is the eighth greatest basketball player of all time is not disrespectful to Kobe.
Most people most analysts have him like 12th or something, 13th.
Kobe was between 11 and 12 for every major publication except for Slam Magazine until ESPN released this last one, where they have Kobe at 9th.
That's disrespectful.
Honestly, I stopped looking at like even the MJ best college player thing. That like those analysts, I don't even take them serious really.
Nah, you can't.
Let's pro basketball that.
Because I need to see who those analysts are because they never put out names or who was actually coming with the list.
Who votes what? Yeah. Because people get death threats and stuff, man. People get no, they're real dumb, man. Like
Stupid stuff. Yeah.
Let's
see. Top.
Kobe against the Mavericks.
He got swept.
I can't.
Oh,
He did.
damn. That's cold. You suddenly had to say, yeah, you got swept. Argument over.
I still heard y'all. I didn't know this shit is open up on my tabs.
Yeah. That's funny though. That is funny. Let me see. So Kobe got 81. Just for the record, just of the top 10 scoring games in NBA history, Wilt has.
You got that list pulled up right now?
Yeah, I got a list pulled up right now. Wilt has 8.
Huh? Yeah, you hear that shit?
I'm just saying. All right.
Okay.
8 of them shits. Bro.
Okay, this one, 2005. Kobe.
And he played with
the
prime
entire
Shaq.
Mavs team 62-61 after 3 quarters.
He got 8 of the top 10 best.
I'm gonna give you the date for the game, and that's 3 quarters. He has scored the whole team.
Oh, and there it is. Hold on, was that the one that they lost?
Yeah.
So I'm saying, like, you pull up Klay Thompson, but Kobe did the same thing, and that's without just taking so many wide open threes.
Oh, 1 second. Let me see. Place in order.
And then Kobe wasn't with Steph Curry or another superstar at that time.
Right, but I think those are all good points. Those are all really great points. Like, I'm not saying that any of those, like, put LeBron on those Bulls teams. Like, if we want to do a hypothetical world, put LeBron on the Bulls teams, put him with Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
And
then just watch the game. Watch the 2000s.
Yeah.
And then now, you don't see too many double teams anymore. Like, people are just not doing double team players. So you getting these one-on-one easy scores, but Kobe was shooting over 2 or 3 guys. Like, it's like, and I know that it's not smart basketball. I agree, but the fact that
he did that
scoring on 2 or 3 guys, like,
Another Wilt stat. Sorry, I like throwing out Wilt. Top 20 scoring games of NBA history. Wilt has 15.
That's what I'm saying. If you go by
greatness, hold on. Who was the first one that you said in the top 10? Did you say? Did I hear you say Kobe had 8 of them?
My wife just said
I
gotta hop off.
All right, bro.
All right, bro. You said Wilt.
Thank you, my man.
Oh yeah, happy birthday again, bro. I forgot it was your birthday.
Bro. Hey,
happy birthday, boss.
You ain't got no shots y'all can take with me right now. You ain't got no liquor.
I got some
just finished the Crown Apple yesterday. I just finished that shit.
On the Mucinex, man. Allergies, dog. Allergies.
Shit, man. If y'all can, man, put one in the air or take a shot.
Already, guy. I got you, bro.
I'm getting
No
old,
doubt,
man.
I got
I'm 28, man. So I'm gonna be up there now, man.
Hey, I'll let me in 10 years.
All right, so y'all.
Good, man. Enjoy it.
All right, man.
Yeah. So no, top eight of the top 10 scoring games, Wilt Chamberlain. 15 of the top 20 scoring games, Wilt Chamberlain.
That's great.
Only player, only center to lead the league in assists.
Who did
that's
he
still
play
scoring,
with?
and that's still scoring 50 points a game.
That's still scoring 50 points.
That's crazy.
Dude,
who was the other players?
A god, bro. Yo, a god.
Who was number 2? Like,
well, I mean, I gotta look that up again. That's something I gotta look up. But yeah, man, like
ridiculous, man.
Like I'm just saying, the thing that keeps Wilt is his record in the finals. That matters. His record in the finals, and what else? There was something else.
He got 1 ring.
He has 2 rings.
2, yeah.
2 rings. Yeah, 2 rings.
Yeah, 2 rings. But that's what holds Wilt back, man. Like Wilt was a god, dude. Like people, there needs to be a Wilt Chamberlain documentary. Like,
oh no,
film for real.
Wilt,
no, that's
Wilt
HBO right there.
Wilt played with the Harlem Globetrotters. Wilt left college. He was in college at Kansas. He said, I want to get paid. They said you got a rule that you can't get paid to play basketball until X amount of years. So he went and played with the Globetrotters for 2 years. Bruh. Like these are things that because we didn't grow up in their era, we completely overlook. If Wilt played in, like, we would not know what to do with Wilt now, dude.
Right.
We wouldn't know what to do.
I agree.
Yeah, but and when I have these discussions, I really like to use these discussions as an opportunity to say to really grow, man. Like to grow. Like I remember, so these statistics that I have, I think what was it, 2000? LeBron only had 1 ring at the time. It was LeBron's first year. So So this is 2011 season that I did this list. I compiled lists for the top 64 greatest players, NBA players of all time. And I used all of these different metrics to pull it up, like to compile that list. And then we did a bracket challenge where we voted on who the greatest player of all time was. But I pulled all the stats. That's why I know all the stats.
Who won? MJ?
It was MJ. MJ, and I disagreed with it. I contested. I protested.
Do you remember the last 4 players?
The final 4, I can tell you. I got it right here. Hold on a second.
Damn, I didn't know. Man, them boys say Wilt ran a 100-yard dash in 10.9 seconds in college.
Wilt was a baller. Wilt was a baller.
How tall was he?
7'1".
Bam. Wilt was a volleyball.
You shouldn't be moving that fast at that height.
Right.
I'll pull up my final 4. I got it right here. Let me see. Where's my screen? Where's it at? I got it over here. All right. Give me 1 second. I'll share my screen with y'all so y'all can see it. So this is my final 4 right here. And again, the whole group was voting. It was pretty cool. Like I would do it again if I had more time. I would do it here, man, because it's really fun actually.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
But that was my final 4 right there. So I broke them down like the NCAA tournament. So I had North, East, West, and South. I split them out like that. And then the final 4 was MJ, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem, and Magic Johnson. And I want to say,
what year was this? 2011.
2011.
Okay.
I want to say it was Magic. No, sorry, it was Michael versus Kareem because Kareem beat Magic, and Magic and Michael beat Kareem. But Wilt Chamberlain was the one that I was fighting for. I was fighting for Wilt, man, because Wilt beat Bill Russell. Wilt, and now see LeBron had a real rough like second round because in the he
where is his? I can barely see, man. I ain't got no glasses on.
He was a 5 seed then. He was a 5 seed in 2011.
Okay.
So he like literally I had statistical rankings for everything. Like I like 1 through 64 I ranked them, and then that's how I did my seedings. But LeBron,
really? So it's that far in the depth. So they.
Oh yeah, I went in depth. Yeah, okay. I did from 1 to 64. Yeah. Wow. And then we did it like that. But it was Wilt versus LeBron, and I think that's the final 4, Elite 8, Sweet 16. LeBron went against Wilt in the Sweet 16. That wasn't gonna happen in 2011.
Yeah.
that was not gonna happen.
That's why I want to know who he faced and lost to.
No, I think LeBron got smoked. I think LeBron got smoked in 2011, and he should have. But now you have that discussion. Like that's what I want to do. That's why I want to do it again. But before I do that, I need to look up some updated numbers and re-rank some things.
It's crazy now. It's retarded now.
Oh yeah, because we got to factor in. You got to remember, 2011, Kevin Durant wasn't on this list yet.
Right.
Steph Curry wasn't on this list yet. Right. Like it's a lot of players that's on this list that got to come off. But you know what? I might just put it together again.
I was about to say that. That was dope to do that.
I might put it together again just so we can vote on it and we can do that, man, because it's a fun thing to do. I know that Michael Jordan's gonna win because Jordan, but
yeah, he gonna win. I expect that too.
He gonna win because
it really only matters who the top 4 is.
His fans won't let him not win.
Right.
That's the thing.
They undefeated.
Fans will not let him not win. They will not let him not win. It just won't happen. But yeah, man, that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about, man. This has been dope. I want to do this again.
No doubt.
So I got capabilities to do this really anytime I want to now, and I can add you guys. I can add y'all, and people can come in and go out, and we can have these discussions. But this has been dope, man. Hey, Adam, nice to finally meet you in video form, man.
No doubt, you too, man.
I want to express my appreciation for you to the group. Like you definitely, you post a lot.
Down. I've been winding down though. I've been winding down now.
Well, because we into Rams season.
Yeah.
Rams.
No, it ain't even that. It just ain't no sports at all for real.
Yeah, ain't got nothing really going on.
Oh, we know what time it is. I see you posting the different Rams uniforms every 35 minutes.
Y'all fuck with them, or was it hideous to y'all?
It don't look good to me.
They don't look good to me either, but I'm gonna rock with them.
I ain't really feeling it too much, but then again, I ain't feeling the Dolphins' new logo either. So
color rush thing, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna check y'all out. I didn't even know y'all got a new logo. I'm gonna check that out.
Well, no, I mean we got the new logo probably
3-4 years ago, something like that. I wasn't a fan of it. I like the older logo, so
I didn't even know
that's just me. Yeah, you know, teams go through that new logo and stuff for marketing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get back to work. I've been on here for a really long time. But y'all be good, man. Hopefully everybody watching enjoyed it. And I will say it's much more fun in video because we can talk and it's a much better conversation. Nobody is like taking people's words out of context, which I appreciate. I think we really came to a level of understanding between us. We got players that we like. So we have
this in the group.
Yeah, it's in the group. It's up.
Oh, okay.
It's up. It's live.
All right. Well, shit. I'll holler at y'all boys in the group then.
All right, man. Be good.
No doubt, man.
One.